Ironman GNCC is back for the 2024 season here on RacerTV.com. A championship on the line. It is Bryson Neal coming in with the points lead, but Walker Fowler all the momentum heading into the last round in what will be a duster here today. How's it going to sort out? We have a championship to be decided in the XC2 class between Grayson Eller and Alex Keeman. That one is a winner take all, and it all starts right here, right now on RacerTV.com. Are you ready to go? GNCC Racing! Good afternoon and welcome to the final round of the 2024 Progressive Grand National Cross Country Racing Series presented by Specialized, the Yamaha Racing Ironman GNCC, our race for the cure. That's why I'm adorned in pink today. Johnny is the Yamaha man, so he is decked out in Yamaha gear today with the Blue Crew. Johnny, such a monumental race. Somehow this race just continues to get bigger and bigger each year, and I think this year we're probably going to be knocking on a record.
I can't imagine we won't be pulling in here Thursday evening. The field across the street was already mostly full, and yesterday it was a madhouse, and in the best way possible. I mean, the fans have come out in droves. They're going to be treated to some awesome racing action today. Championship implications on the line in our XC1 class, but just the overall event, the vibes are high. You know, everybody's loving it. See a lot of just Ironman cheers, and it's going to be a great day of racing.
Yeah, going to be a great day. This is one of those races like Snowshoe where there's so much going on. We're like, oh, hey, by the way, we have racing.
Yeah.
Huge race, as you said, Johnny. Obviously, Bryson Neal, the favorite coming into today as far as points are concerned. You are still pro rider in my book, anyways. You're having some fun here today, or you had some fun today. Retired pro, fair enough. But nonetheless, you know what momentum does for a rider, and right now that is all on the plate of Walker Fowler.
Well, you know, I think we have a championship battle here today, but the real winner is the Ironman fans here today, and the fans watching at home, because what we have is a championship that was all but decided coming into the summer break with a 51-point lead for Bryson Neal. Even Walker Fowler himself seemed almost relegated to the fact that he was going to need a miracle to win this championship. Well, folks, miracles can happen, and regardless of who you're rooting for, we have a battle. It's not a tied point situation, but there's very much a championship on the line. 16 points is what Bryson Neal has, so no question it is still his championship to lose, but Walker Fowler has taken that 51 points down to 16 in the last 3 rounds. Like you said, momentum. So you have the rider that's just been on one all season. He's been dominant. He's won the most races, and he's done it in convincing fashion. Bryson Neal, already a 2-time GNCC champion, looking to make it 3. He's got everything going for him, but Walker Fowler suddenly is the dark horse, the underdog, and he's thriving in that role. So again, no matter who you're rooting for, we're going to have some awesome racing action here today, and I really hope that these guys take it down to the wire, and we can be hyped up about it all day long.
It's going to be a good one. Cannot wait to watch that battle. Another battle. Hey, guys that have won races this year, not named Bryson Neal, not named Walker Fowler. 2 huge names, Wyatt Wilkin and Josh Merritt. They've got their own little battle going back there. They want that national number 3. That is up for grabs between the 2 of them.
Absolutely, and that's huge. I mean, to say that you are in the top 3 in the country and essentially in the world of off-road ATV racing, I mean, that is a huge feather in either one of those guys' cap, and they're good buddies, but I can assure you, when the green flag drops today, will they race each other clean? Certainly. But will they race each other hard? You betcha.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be a good day of battling, and so many other, it was pointed out to me that I think 5 of the top 7 positions in the overall points up for grabs. Really, the only riders who can't move backwards are Walker Fowler can't drop below 2, and Wyatt Wilkin can't drop below 4. Everybody else in the top 7 can move forward.
Interesting.
So it's very interesting. A lot of guys will be racing for a lot today. You know, we have so many guys that are wanting. We you talked about it, the season of first, so many new winners. Who else wants to put their name on that list this year? You just never know. We've also got some visiting ATV motocross pros, Bryce Ford, Max Lindquist, and I think a few others as well. We'll obviously see them lining up here. We'll give them love throughout the show, but giving GNCC a try, and the vibes are high. And we also, Mike, you cannot forget about that championship battle in the XC2 class between Grayson Eller and also Alex Tiemann. I mean, I think it's 2 points or 3 points. Basically, what it becomes for those two, winner take all shootout.
Take all. That's where it's at. I mean, we got battles in the XC1. We have battles in the XC2. Championships on the line. Going to be a sensational race today, Johnny.
Absolutely. We're dialed in. It's going to be a heck of a lot of action here today, and can't wait for it to get started.
We're going to take a short commercial break, get in a word from our sponsors, and when we come back, I'll be down on the starting line, and we'll be ready to get this thing off here at the Yamaha Ironman GNCC.
You know, when I take the bike out like this, all my stresses just melt away.
I hear that. This bad boy can fix anything.
Yep, tough day at work. Nice cruiser sorts you right out.
When I'm riding, I'm not even thinking about my painful cavity.
Oh, you shouldn't ignore that.
And every time I get stressed about having to pay my bills, I just hop on the bike, man.
Oh, come on, man. You gotta pay your bills.
You don't have to worry about anything when you're protected by America's #1 motorcycle insurer.
Well, you definitely do. Those things aren't related, so...
Oh, that is a vibrating pain.
Progressive GNCC Racing is brought to you by Progressive. Progressive could save you hundreds of dollars on your automobile and motorcycle insurance. Specialized e-turbo bicycles. It's you, only faster. Rocky Mountain ATVMC.com. Get ready.
World right now that we don't even know about, but they keep us free and safe so we can come here and have some fun. Watch over them every day. And our leaders at the high level and the local level, make sure they make the right decisions for us each and every day for our country. Lord, we've been talking about the storm victims that's happened over the last few weeks in the southeast. A lot of people's homes were destroyed. There's been some lives lost. Lord, you can't replace the lives. Help us, the family and friends, find some comfort through you each and every day. And as far as rebuilding the property back, Lord, it takes a long time to get things back in order. What we need more than anything is some patience. Give us the patience to work through this as a country to get back on our feet together. Lord, it won't be long. The holiday seasons are just right around the corner. Thanksgiving's going to come in a couple of weeks. Help us be thankful for what we do have and what you do for us every day, and spend a little bit of time with our families. And then, Lord, it won't be but a couple more weeks after that, Christmas will roll around. Help us remember what that's all about. You sent your son to us as a child, and he grew up, and he died on the cross for our sins so they could be forgiven. We thank you for that and everything you do for us every day. Later on this weekend, Lord, we're going to start traveling down the road back home. Take us all home safely so one day we'll do this again and we'll have some more fun. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you for that, Ricky. And now as Ricky Towery will make his way over to turn number 1. At this time, we like to ask our XC2 riders, if you're able to step off your machine, step forward on that front XC1 line. You are going to lead us by example. And as for the rest of us, if you have not already, please stand at attention, remove your hats, and cross your hearts as we honor the greatest nation in the world with the playing of our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's what so proudly we hailed. At the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Let's go. All right, all right, all right. We are just about ready to set it off now for the Ironman GNCC. But first, we want to meet our starting row for the XC1 Pro Class. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, 18 pro riders in total, and rolling to the line first, the number one out of Bidwell, Ohio, aboard the Phoenix Racing Yamaha, the Bidwell Bullet, Bryson Neal. Rolling to the line next, the 723 out of Rogers, Ohio, on a WFR, GBC, and Fly Racing back to Yamaha, Walker Fowler. Up next, the number 5 out of Akron, Ohio, aboard the Action Off-Road, GBC, and B&R Motorsports back to Yamaha, Josh Merritt. Up next, the 621 out of Hillsboro, Ohio, aboard the Action Off-Road, GBC, and Hauser back to Yamaha, Wyatt Wilkin. Up next, the number 8 out of Elk Ridge, Maryland, on the B&R Motorsports, Kenda, and Fearless back to Yamaha, Stephen Harrell. Rolling to the line next, the number 2 out of Newfield, New York, aboard the Fly Racing Ithaca Recreation Sports back to Yamaha, Hunter Hart. Up next, the 521 out of Waverly, West by God, Virginia, on a McGill Mafia Obor Tires backed ride, the Gator, Adam McGill. Up next, Indiana's own, the 703 out of Petersburg, Indiana, on the Action Off-Road, Maxxis, and Fly Racing back to Yamaha, Austin Abney. Up next, the number 9 out of Casca, Pennsylvania, on a JMR, GBC, Elka, and Moose Racing back Honda, the Cobra, Jared McClure. Up next, the number 12 out of Sunbury, Pennsylvania, on the Action Off-Road, AMSOIL, and CB Racing back to Yamaha, Chris Borich. Up next, the number 10 out of Acme, Pennsylvania, on the Action Off-Road and Pro Graphics back to Yamaha, Jay Shack. Bad Run. Up next, the 259 out of Newcastle, Pennsylvania, on the B&R Motorsports GBC and Spider Graphics backed Yamaha. Welcome to the XC1, Kenny Schick. Up next, the 246 out of Walker, West Virginia, on the Sturdy Vant Power Sports Moose Racing and Impact Solutions backed Yamaha, Brandon Owens. And a big welcome back, the number 3 out of Edinburgh, Pennsylvania, on the Richardson Racing backed Yamaha. Say hello to the Coal Train, Cole Richardson. He grabbed his first podium of his XC1 career earlier this season, the 714 out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, on the Bulletproof Doors, Kenda Tires, and Singe Graphics backed Yamaha, Ronnie Rush. Up next, the 712 out of Waxhaw, North Carolina, aboard the Action Off-Road Phoenix Racing Yamaha, John Glotta Jr. Up next, the 201 out of Carroll, Ohio, on the Kenda Ryko Electric backed ride, Cody Collier. And now the 707 out of Wisconsin, on the Walsh Racing Craft and Fox Shocks backed Yamaha, Max Lindquist. And last but not least, coming from ATV MX, the 404 out of Springtown, Texas, on the Ford Brothers Racing and SSI decals back to Yamaha, Bryce Ford. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is your starting row. We did it. We nailed it, baby. We did great, Big John. Solid work, man. That is your starting row for the XC1 Pro Class here at the Yamaha Racing Ironman GNCC. And as our XC1 Pro riders get themselves sorted out on row number 1, DJ Judd jumps into the Yamaha R-Max 1000. And this is where we like to say, DJ Judd, remove the meat. It's like the Beyond Burger. We take the meat right out of it. By the way, nobody's eating those. Every time I see one of those Beyond Burgers, it's on clearance at Kroger. I don't know who's eating that. Not me. Monster Energy Activation Transport makes its way off of the starting line. And now all eyes will go down to Ricky Towery, where he lets our riders know 5 minutes. We are 5 minutes away from getting things underway. I gotta have all spectators behind the white stringer line. Gotta be behind the white stringer line. Authorized media and personnel only. Thank you. All eyes on Ricky Towery. We are just under 5 minutes. DJ Judd gonna keep us warmed up for a couple more minutes here, and we'll jump back into it. A championship is on the line here today. Bryson Neal with the points lead. The momentum, it belongs to Walker Fowler. This is GNCC Racing. How is it going to sort out when we get to the checkered flag here today? Going to be a good one. A lot of things can mix up as far as the national point standings are concerned between that top 7. Good day for it. Beautiful day in Indiana. Keep us warmed up, Judd. championship on the line here today for the XC1 Pro Class, and another one on the line for the XC2 here today. That one's very tight. Coming into this last round, going to be a good one to watch here on Racer TV. And of course, we welcome those watching at home on RacerTV.com. And I'm going to call it what's probably going to end up by weekend's end, a record-breaking crowd in attendance. Gonna be a good one, baby. Gonna be a good one. Line them up, let's go racing! Yeah, buddy. We got the okay, safe to race, and now the adrenaline is pumping as Ricky Towery gives him a head nod, looks down at his watch, takes that big, deep breath. All eyes fixate into turn number 1, where the track official, the Ricky Towery, steps out onto the racetrack. Another big, deep breath as he steps forward, and he lets our riders know 1 minute. 1 minute until we are ready to go. Yamaha Ironman GNCC Racing. As Ricky now takes another big, deep breath, and there it is. Blue flag waves, blue flag waves. Shut them down, shut them down, shut them down. As we are just about ready to roll down, I got to ask you, Ironman Raceway, are you ready to go GNCC Racing? Woo, that's pretty good, but mercy sakes alive, we are going to be a record-breaking crowd. I want to hear it loud and proud. Are you ready to go GNCC Racing? 10 seconds for row number 1, the XC1 Pro. Bang, and they're off. As our riders jockey for position in the Canati Tires Whole Shot Award. That is a man. It looked like the 703. If I'm not mistaken, I think that might have been Austin Abney, but we may have to. It was confirmation. Austin Abney grabs the Canati Tires Whole Shot Award as we reset the deck for the XC2. 10 seconds. Alex Tiemann, Keaton Henderson, Elijah Edmondson, Jeremy Ladon, Dalton Keys, Andrew Benoski, Grayson Eller, Christopher Howard, Braxton Gross, Nick Royalty, Alex Elioff, Zach Decker, Brady Myers. Oh! Was it Alex Tiemann? Man, from my angle, it looked like Tiemann. We may have to go back to the tape on that one. That one was too close to call. A couple of riders getting tangled up in the first turn. Off and rolling. Oh, thank you. Appreciate you, Jared Bolts. On row number 3, coming up next after the heated battle in the XC2. 10 seconds. College A, 16 to 18. Aiden Jones, Parker Henderson, Evan Osborne, Andre Williams, Ty McGay, Caden Lambruno, Jeremiah Wolf, Logan Ward, Cole Likens, Trevor Meadows, Ryan Wilhelm, Talon Stout, and the 7-11 of Jordan Berg out of Runnels, Iowa, will grab that whole shot, and early lead right there. As we take a look now at row number 4, Junior A, 19 plus. 10 seconds. Corey Vandelander, David Machisco, Colton Kushta, Ryan Hendershot, Michael Worth, Carter Stone, Connor Brandt, Kevin Van Zandt, Colby Burris, Parker Gone, Logan Weishauer, David Witt, Trace Furby, grabbing the whole shot. Well, he's got the goggles over the helmet sticker. And here comes the dust. Vet A, 28 plus. One rider trying to get her fired up just after turn number 1, and does. Pulls it off to the side. And ready to roll. Maybe. Pointing down to the machine. Here we go. 10 seconds. Vet A, 28 plus. Tyler Griffith, Nick Davidson, Derek Warren, Tom Coon, Schultz, A.J. Connors, Michael McAvoy, they call him Baby Mac, Mark Devins Jr., Justin Lewicki, J.D. Higgins, and Jason Daly. 4, 2, 1, Tom Coots on that B&R Motorsports back ride. Getting it done early as we reset the deck. 10 seconds. Senior A 40 plus, the Marlboro Man. Todd Muscala, Nate Byers, Papa P, Jeff Pickens, Courtney Dunn, Mike Wise, Brian Foltz, Jason Nushin, Matthew Ludwall, Zachary Phillips, Chris Conklin, and Derek Hart. 719. That is going to be Chris Conklin out of Sisterville, West by God, Virginia. Getting it done early. College B. 10 seconds. 33 riders in total. Cameron Mulholland, Luke Hayes, Isaac Hart, James Berger, Austin Kiger, Austin Miller, Brady Torres, Evan Bridgewater, Aiden Allball, Keelan Eichelberger, Will Frolick, Bryson Carsey, Logan Phillips, Braden Brock. No doubt about that one. That's going to be the 4:02 of Logan Phillips. Rider out of Illinois. Like a rocket, grabbing that whole shot, an early lead. One rider trying to get her fired back up, and does. Off and rolling. Junior B, 19 plus. 10 seconds. Evan Young, Christopher Leslie, Nate Harrison, Griffin Poor, Christian Word, Jordan Hawkers, Gavin Mann, Cody Chisholm, Hunter Griffith, Braden Maynard, Jeremy Haney, Tanner Green, Joey Stewart, Logan Williams, Adam Safel, side by side. Man, 412 on the jersey. Might have been the 812 of Richard DeHar. Believe that's what the helmet sticker said there. Vet B, 28 plus. 10 seconds. Tanner Davisic, Matthew De Niro, Alex Ray, Frederick Harder, Belford Spurgeon, Michael Brown, Sam Owens, Christopher Streebing, Clint Watson, Eric Murphy, Ted Mullins, Neil Shepard, Russell Fulford, Dustin Briscoe, Daniel Harsh. 436. That is Daniel Harsh on cue on the Penny Pension Racing and Thompson's Motorsports and Mudd Motorsports backed ride. Some big names out of Indiana there. 10 seconds. Senior B 40 plus. Shane Word, Greg Phillips, Ricky Lewis, Jeremy Page, Brian Debris, Kelly Frolick, Ben Dunlap, Craig Rossick, Joe D. Hart, Jason Triplehorn, Russell Fry, Robert Novak coming in hot. 431. That is Josh Lane out of Martinsville, Indiana on that Mudd Motorsports backed ride. And that is going to wrap things up for the moment. How about it? The hometown man, Austin Abney, grabbing the whole shot and the early lead. They are well into the woods now, and we are off and rolling. We're going to take a short commercial break, and we'll be back with more from the Yamaha Racing Ironman GNCC.
You know, when I take the bike out like this, all my stresses just melt away.
I hear that. This bad boy can fix anything.
Yep, tough day at work. Nice cruiser sorts you right out.
When I'm riding, I'm not even thinking about my painful cavity.
Oh, you shouldn't ignore that.
And every time I get stressed about having to pay my bills, I just hop on the bike, man.
Oh, come on, man. You gotta pay your bills.
You don't have to worry about anything when you're protected by America's #1 motorcycle insurer.
Well, you definitely do. Those things aren't related, so...
Ah, yee! Oh, that is a vibrating pain.
Every generation believes they've invented the best way. With age comes wisdom. We've come to realize that every piece of knowledge is learned, passed down from those generous and patient enough to teach. Legacy. It's not about leaving something behind to be remembered by. It's realizing that the future lies within the next generation.
Let's call it a night. All right.
The nature of true progress is humbly building something bigger than yourself. Rocky Mountain ATV MC. This is our legacy.
Whatever you drive, however you drive. AMSOIL specially engineers lubricants to maximize power, performance, and protection in your vehicles, so you can work hard and play hard with confidence. Order online at AMSOIL.com.
Progressive GNCC Racing is brought to you by Progressive. Progressive could save you hundreds of dollars on your automobile and motorcycle insurance. Specialized E-Turbo bicycles. It's you, only faster. RockyMountainATVMC.com. Get ready.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Racer TV for the Yamaha Racing Ironman GNCC. This is the 13th and final round of the Progressive Grand National Cross Country Series presented by Specialized. My name is Jackson Burrell, and I'll be alongside Zach Heron, Johnny G, and some special guests throughout the day. Zach, this is what it all comes down to for our ATV racers here at the Ironman.
Man, I couldn't have said it better, Jackson. I mean, so much on the line. We've had already so much action this weekend. We had our EMTB double points race go on yesterday, but man, everybody's been talking about it all day long. Who do you got, Walker or Bryson? Who's it going to be, Walker and Bryson? The XC1 Pro Championship up for grabs. And how about this, Jackson? We'll take a look at that Specialized start recap. I believe both of our title contenders outside of the top 10 starting off the race. So they're definitely not making things easy on themselves. As we said, that Specialized XC1 Pro Start recap. And look at this. They all go rocketing into turn one. Everybody trying to hug the inside. You can see it is very dry. We got a little bit of rain on Friday morning, but it has not stuck around. Look at this. Austin Abney going tough. I believe that was Hunter Hart that was trying to go up the inside, but it is going to be Abney credited with the whole shot. But quickly, we saw some shaking around in the pack. But two of the names you don't see towards the front, the number one of Bryson Hill or Walker Fowler. That is really going to make things interesting. As now we jump back to the XC2 Pro Am class. Once again, they all barrel into turn number one. It was hard to make out the numbers. Originally, I thought I had heard that Alex Tiemann got the whole shot. But Braxton Gross was actually who was credited coming across the line first. So Braxton Gross starting off the race exactly how he would like to. And these drier conditions probably in the favor of Gross as well. You can see a couple of riders getting caught together. Everybody laying it all out on the line, like you said, Jackson, because guess what? There's no more rounds after this. If there's ever a time to do it, it's right here and right now.
Yeah, no doubt about it, and we're going to get to see them go head-to-head. You couldn't have scripted this any better. Bryson Neal, along with how many time champion?
7.
7-time champion. So he knows exactly how to get it done. This is going to be a good one here today.
Yeah, so you have Bryson Neal with 2 championships. Walker Fowler with 7. So the last 9 GNCC championships accounted for between those two riders battling it out here today. Guys, I apologize for the way I sound. I'm going to leave most of this in your very capable hands. I'll help out when I can. 2 weeks in Spain, came home with a little bit of the croup and coughing the last couple days. The voice is rough. So one thing I did want to point out, Zach, you mentioned Walker Fowler, Bryson Neal, both back in the pack much further than they would have liked to have been. Obviously, the even more kind of dramatic thing for Bryson Neal, he actually, if you play that back. As he's slowing down and going to the woods, he does a full hand off the bars, turns around and looks down at something on the back end of his machine. Was he just cautious? Does he feel something wrong with that? But when you have championship implications, every little bump, every little wobble is just exacerbated in your head. You're thinking, man, did I just bend an axle? Do I have a loose wheel? Did I get a flat tire? Whatever the situation may be. Bryson Neal, though, he is a champion. He will fight through it. I think we're going to see these guys work. But look at this. It is the Cole train up front. Visiting rider Cole Richardson retired at the end of last season, followed by, it looks like Stephen Harrell, might have been Brandon Owens there on the outside. So there we see, there's Harrell. There's Cole Richardson. I think that was Owens. Kind of hard to tell there, guys, but yeah.
Yeah, cameras doing the best as they can there. Obviously, Signal, they're in the middle of nowhere. I'd say it all the time.
There's Adam McGill. Yep, we did see. There's Walker Fowler. That looks to be Jay Shadron, who was up front off the start as well.
Looks like that is Boric there on the 14.
I think that's Bryce Ford there.
Bryce Ford visiting from the ATV motocross side of things.
That's Wyatt Wilkin.
Was it Wyatt Wilkin?
I couldn't tell for sure. Mate.
Trying to get a little clear picture of how things have shaken up here at the 5-mile mark between the start and now, as now we jump on board with the Yamaha Racing live drone. Once again, just catching a quick glimpse of your riders up front early, but we do know that it is the Cole train. I wasn't sure at first, but I feel a little better knowing that this isn't the regular competition. Cole train select events throughout the season, but he doesn't just come to take place. He comes to take over. He shows up and he's handling business right now.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. One of your top riders from last season, finishing off, the season in the top 3 overall, a lifelong goal for him, able to do that, but ultimately moving on, now works at his father's RCP cooling packages, his family business, and here just for the weekend, just having some fun, but leading the way. That looks to be still Harrell there in the number 2 spot with that bright yellow helmet. We did see Hunter Hart up there in the mix, so we'll have to see when this shakes out and we get a clear picture of these guys. We can see them all at once. We'll get you the running order, and obviously they'll be checking in here with 1 lap complete in just about another 5 miles of racing action.
Now, Jackson, something that we haven't seen a lot of this season is the dust like this. I definitely think it could contribute to the riders starting to spread out just a little bit more and maybe a little earlier than usual. Definitely not what you're wanting if you're Walker Fowler or Bryson Neal.
Yeah, this is going to make things tough as you see them making their way down the field now. Zach, that's something you talk about a lot. Maybe there's some tactics in the dust, throwing it up. As you see Cole Richardson making his way around, he's in the powder. They're making sure that they throw up all the dust that they possibly can, and yeah, without a doubt, that is going to be a big factor here today.
Guys, one thing worth noting, the passes that Bryson Neal made at the Beckley GNCC, the Boy Scout camp, I can't think of the Mountaineer. The Mountaineer GNCC, he came all the way from the back of the pack in the dust all the way to second place. He just seems to be willing to just send it through the dust. Could be a big advantage for him here today with both he and Walker Fowler starting back much further than they'd like to be to try to settle this 2024 GNCC championship.
Now, as far as the championship points breakdown, Jackson, you've got it in front of you. What exactly are the numbers that we're looking at between our top 2?
So Bryson Neal going to be sitting with 302 points. Then Walker Fowler going to be behind him with 286. And the reason I was so concerned if that was Wyatt Wilkin or not, because not only do we have a battle for that top spot, there is a battle between Josh Merritt and Wyatt Wilkin there with just 4 points separating them. Both of those riders want that 3rd place. They can wear that number 3 going into next year.
Without a doubt. You took the words right out of my mouth. Merritt and Wilkin, both buddies off of the track, but absolute battling to the fittest there as far as for the 3rd place spot. They train together, but they've said it, hey, they want to support one another, but they want to be the one being able to run the number 3 next year. So exciting stuff, not only for the championship, but for the tail end of the overall series podium as well. Man, love these open field shots. Our drone operator, Gabe, doing a great job of catching glimpses of those top riders. And I tell you what, right now, Cole Richardson starting to put a little distance between himself and I believe that's Harrell there in the 2nd place spot.
And taking a look here at your past winners, Bryson Neal took the win in 2023, Walker Fowler in 2022, and then the man leading the way, Cole Richardson, took the win in 21, and then Bryson Neal and Hunter Hart there for 20 and 19. So Cole Richardson knows exactly what he's doing. Zach, this is something we talked about, a wild card here at Ironman.
Well, and without a doubt, confidence is key. Being at a location where you've had success before, where you've been able to be the guy, you just kind of walk in with a little extra swagger. Be on the lookout for Hunter Hart as well. I've not been able to put eyes on him since that start, but we do believe that was him battling up front early, so it might be inside this top 5. But look at these wide open field sections, Jackson. I'm sure at some point we'll be able to pull up a track map and kind of show you the breakdown, but this has been a talking point all day long between our youth riders. We just had our WXC and 4x4 Pro as well. These wide open fast sections, to some it's not their favorite, to others it's a huge opportunity to make up time.
Yeah, a lot of risk going to be going into those fields with all the dust that there is. These 450cc machines will be absolutely flying. Johnny, what kind of speeds do you think we could see in those fields?
I mean, I was out there. I was able to do one lap myself this morning as a part of that Yamaha industry race with Ryan Villopoto and Damon Bradshaw, Barry Hawk, Tracy Pickens. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. But there are some fast sections. I think at one point I was probably in 5th gear, not quite tapped out, but I'd say upwards of 70 mile an hour pretty easy.
Man. So that is exactly what these riders are going to have to face. Going to be plenty of sections. Like Zach said, we'll get the track map pulled up here in just a few minutes and show you exactly where these riders will have to go throughout the race.
And right now, I mean, Cole Richardson's such a huge advantage. Clear vision, clear track. You know, he's, that heart rate's probably getting up there. The ability doesn't go away, but just kind of the hype of not racing every week, it's coming at him pretty hard right now.
Now, Johnny, we're taking a look at the Yamaha Racing track map as we've seen some of these wide open field sections, but that is not the whole story of this Ironman course. We've got some tighter stuff. We've got some twists and turns through the woods, some mud sections. I don't want to say mud, but they go through some water at one point or another. A lot of variety here at Ironman.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's some tighter stuff. There's single track, 2-track, I guess, for an ATV technically. There's some fast flowy stuff, and then there's those wide open fields where you can just really let it eat. So it really has something for everybody, where everybody can really kind of strut their stuff and show their skills. I do believe that is Brandon Owens.
Ronnie Rush, maybe?
It could be Ronnie. Could be Brandon. Could be Ronnie. You might be right, Jackson. Now coming through, that's definitely Wyatt Wilkin. You can see the braids flowing there.
Cody Collier going to be another rider that is out here with us this weekend. Several different people. Bryce Ford's going to be out here, like we mentioned. Of course, Cole Richardson. And now on screen, that is the big number 1, Bryson Neal, and that pink Phoenix Racing machine making his way through. So Bryson is in the fight here in this one now.
Yeah, that's a big shakeup. That was one of the riders we had not officially put eyes on quite yet. Looks like that's Hunter Hart making his way through. Question is, where is Walker Fowler as they make their way up here at the Monster Mile?
That was John Glotto Jr. that just went by there.
And as you can see, Jackson, you pointed it out, kind of the pink Phoenix Racing Yamaha. Seen a lot of pink throughout. This is obviously the Yamaha Racing Ironman, the race for the cure to raise breast cancer awareness and research, obviously. And pretty cool to see how important it is for the riders and the teams as well. They go all in on this stuff.
Yeah, such an honor for all of us to be a part of it. Johnny, go ahead.
Guys, I could be wrong, but that almost looked to be Dylan Walraven that just came by, the 622 machine, which would be an XC2 rider. If that is in fact him, he has made his way well up into, made some passes already in that XC2 class and running very strong and holding down a very quick pace early. And I do not see that's actually Chance Hickey. So yes, these are some XC2 riders coming through. So the pace in the XC2 class pretty high today, and these guys are pushing it up well inside the top 10 overall on correct time we are going to see.
So now the question is, where is Fowler?
I believe he came through with that.
And one of those,
the way the camera's panning back and forth, we're missing about every other rider. So he was definitely in there. It looks like now we have some more. That's actually Chase Allison. So we're back outside the top 10 in XC2. So yeah, I mean, everybody's really close together. I think Fowler was just behind Bryson Neal when they came through, but it was hard to tell. They're kind of mixing it up, man. Everybody's trying to get ahead in the dust. Nobody wants to sit back there and eat that dust. It's just so hard to see, so hard to breathe.
So making their way back up into the beautiful Forest here at Ironman Raceway. Obviously, I mean, just a picture-perfect time. The photographers are having a field day out there, getting the shots, and man, a great racetrack to go along with it as well. And start to see a little further back in the pack, and it's not all pretty. There are
Ironman Hill, baby.
Yep, there are some tough spots.
Nothing better than having a fruit help you out and get you down the hill, get you safe on your way. You can see they got the B riders told to go to the left. They are not permitted to make an attempt at Ironman Hill. That hill, deceivingly steep, very, very vertical. And if you don't make it, you can end up tumbling all the way back down, doing damage to both you and your machine.
Yeah, we'll be making our way over there here in just a little while to try to get some shots over there, some stand-up shots there at the hill, let you know exactly what it looks like in person.
And you can see, like you said, if it looks steep on camera, it's about twice as steep when you actually get there, and the fans know it as well. Obviously, the Mud Fleas love seeing the action, the good, the bad, and the ugly, as looks like that might have been your lead group coming through here at mile marker 10.
That was actually Adam McGill, and now that's Jay Shadron, so this is much further back. Just near the tail end of the top 10, there's Chris Borch. There's John Glauda Jr. I couldn't tell. That may have been Bryce Ford, the other rider, not certain. Now getting back just a little bit further, believe that is Cody Collier. Just from the, couldn't catch the number, but judging by the riding style, raced many years with Cody in the XC1 class before he went on to start his run of championships there in that 4x4 Pro class. Now, oh, look at that. That is actually Alex Tiemann. Then it's Braxton Gross. So that looks to be 1-2 in that XC2 class. So that was Dylan Walraven. And there is, hard to tell who that was there. Got some more XC2 riders working their way through. These guys are all close and battling for top 5 positions. That looked to be Dalton Keys there, another local product along with Austin Abney, local IXCR racers that, they've got a huge fan base here this weekend.
Well, and we've talked to a couple of them. Some of our youth riders, the crowd goes crazy and they start laughing. They say, yeah, this is my home race. And I asked one rider, I was like, is it added support or is it added pressure? And he's like, I'll be honest, it is added pressure. He was like, I want to do well in front of my friends and family. A lot of these guys don't get to see me throughout the whole year at an actual race. And he was talking to me on the podium, so he clearly performed well. But definitely advantageous for a lot of these riders having those friends, those families, those people that don't normally get to come support them at the race.
And guys, I'm sorry, but look at the dust just hanging. We've only had, maybe 25 machines through. We've got several hundred riders out on course this afternoon. We're still only halfway through our XC2 class. Imagine when you start getting back into the A and B classes and you're the 50, 60, 80th, 150th rider to come through. Certain places the wind will blow the dust, the trail will clear, you'll be able to see, but in some of the denser parts of the forest, the dust just hangs, making it so difficult to see and ride at any kind of a smooth pace.
Well, and you bring up a good point. We've got record numbers here at Ironman. I mean, this place has been absolutely packed since like Thursday, and with that, obviously, it's great. Shows the GNCC bloodline is healthy, but that's going to cause the riders to get, or the leaders to get into lap traffic. It's going to be thicker. They're going to have to deal with more of it throughout the entire race, and in conditions like this, like you said, even when there's not a lap rider right in front of you, there's that looming dust. It makes it hard to see. It makes it hard to push as well. Really going to make things interesting for the title fight that we have at hand.
Guys, I got to tell you, pulling in here on Thursday and looking around, vibes are high. I mean, I think a lot of people are here just for the fact this is Ironman, baby. This is the granddaddy of them all. And there you see Cole Richardson still out front. There's a lot of hype just around this race, but the fact that we have a championship on the line today, the fact that the weather is really cooperating, and this has been the best Ironman weather we've had in years. It's just really bringing the fans out in droves. Here we see Cole Richardson still leading the way. You can see him looking like he's maybe getting a little drink of water there. Stephen Harrell on the number 8 B&R machine, solid there in the number 2 spot. And you're right, that is Ronnie Rush. You can tell by the head bob. That's a signature move for him. Good catch there, Jackson Burrell. And then it looks to be Josh Merritt in the number 4 spot, shaking out a little arm pump, boys. That's one thing that happens when it gets dusty and you can't see. Tendency is to tighten up, ride a little tighter. Josh Merritt shaking out that arm pump. Back to the leaders on screen. Cole Richardson out front. Stephen Harrell in the number 2 spot.
So an impressive performance right now for the, I don't know, we don't call him a newcomer, but the occasional guy that shows up here to GNCC Racing, the Coltrane. Like we said, been there, done that plenty of times before, but right now putting on a clinic. And got to give some serious props to Stephen Harrell as well. I think he's been kind of underrated throughout the season. We saw him there, I want to say, in Pennsylvania, leading until Walker Fowler kind of took over, and then he did. He lashed
Mason-Dixon.
Yep, right at Mason-Dixon, and he lashed right onto the back of Walker Fowler. So I think he's been taking a lot of notes this season and is trying to put an exclamation point on the 2024 season.
Yeah, and as they check in, don't have live results up just yet, but Ronnie Rush there in the number 3 spot. And we saw him already on the podium a few rounds ago in a very dusty race. And man, he was just absolutely sending it all day, leading much of that one. And today, sitting solidly in the number 3 spot as they check in with 1 lap complete. Just behind him, one of those 2, Jackson, that you mentioned that's really in that battle over the number 3 spot for the year, Josh Merritt. We'll get some updates here as they check in and give you a top 10 rundown.
So going back to what you were saying, Zach, about the leader, Cole Richardson, not only is he somebody that just comes out and races, he is technically a retired racer, so this is a big feat. Honestly, I can't help but to say I am a little bit surprised to have seen him lead a full lap at this point. And you can't help but to think maybe the championship battle here adding so much pressure to these guys that they're kind of getting pulled under right now due to it.
Well, and you definitely, you're not seeing them cut through the field. I mean, sometimes it's like a hot knife through butter with these guys, but in conditions like this, I think they can't push quite as hard. They can't slow it down quite as much. But with Cole Richardson, yeah, nothing to lose, nothing to prove as well. So got to be a good feeling. And we were actually able to catch up with the Coltrane a little bit earlier.
Yeah, you know, I think even to have part-time, you got to at least show up to half of them. So I don't even know if we're part-time, but no, we're here. You know, watch some Austin Abney's videos from the IXER and Ricky Russell and stuff, and man, I was like, it's going to be astronomically dusty. But honestly, the track seems to be shaped up pretty nice, so I think our odds are pretty good lining up. I can say that, but when the flag drops, I might be thinking different in my head. But to be quite honest, I think I have about an hour and a half total in like 4 months riding a quad. And the last time I rode 2 hours was at Mason-Dixon. So, you know, we don't have much time. I've been riding a dirt bike a little bit and just kind of having fun. Just been doing a lot of traveling for work this summer, so haven't got out much. But I figured, you know, last race of the year, come by, see all you guys, see everybody, and, you know, at least maybe get out on the track, let the fans kind of see me out there, and, you know, we'll see where the cards fall.
Yeah, man, you said it.
And the cards are falling right now as Cole Richardson leads the way. He's getting it done here today.
And guys, worth mentioning, I mean, Cole has been out with us a few times this year at the Mason-Dixon race, actually finishing 4th, just inches off of Josh Merritt coming to the finish line, nearly on the podium. Then a heartbreaker at the Snowshoe GNCC, had some bike issues, didn't even make a lap. So this isn't his first run, but, you know, one of the 2 times we did see him out already this year, he was right up in the mix, battling for not only podium positions, but battling for the lead for much of the race. So the speed's still there. You know, he admittedly said, hey, I haven't been able to ride too much. You know, this is only his 3rd race, I believe, of the year here, but he does still race a lot of locals. We'll see what the stamina's like, but man, this dust, a big advantage for him right now. It's creating a wall between him and the riders behind him. We'll do the rundown here for the top 10. Cole Richardson leading the way. Obviously, Stephen Harrell in 2nd, Ronnie Rush in 3rd, Josh Merritt in 4th. Guess who's right behind him, boys? Wyatt Wilkin. The number 3 and 4 riders in points are sitting 4th and 5th on the track and duking it out, each wanting that final podium position for the year. Brandon Owens sits in 6th, Hunter Hart in 7th, Bryson Neal in 8th, local product Austin Abney 9th, and Walker Fowler rounds out your top 10, about 8 seconds behind Bryson Neal, 7 seconds back to Austin Abney, Walker Fowler 1 second back. Those 2 are the 2 that I think we're really going to keep our eye on right now. Bryson Neal right where he needs to be, even if Walker Fowler can get around him. But running in 8th, if Walker Fowler could leapfrog him and get all the way to the lead, that would be exactly the situation where the championship would come down to just those 2. Bryson Neal needs a 7th today. Walker Fowler needs to win to even make it a race. So we'll have to continue and watch that story develop. But Cole Richardson out front, Stephen Harrell looking really good there in 2nd. And did want to give a shout out. That was Dylan Walraven leading the way in the XC2 class. He's actually ahead of Alex Tiemann and Braxton Gross, who sits 2nd and 3rd in that XC2 class.
So taking a look, it looks like we might have actually had a pass there for the 3rd place spot. I believe Merritt might have gotten around Ronnie Rush for that third place spot. Wilkin actually looks like he might have even fallen back a position.
It looks like Bryson Neal may have gotten was it Neal that got around?
I believe maybe Neal got around Wilkin, and then Wilkin got around.
Okay, he's still behind Hart. So who was it in between there?
Lap rider, possibly?
No, couldn't be yet. But yeah, there may have been a shakeup inside that top 5. There we see Austin Abney, Adam McGill. So it does look like Walker Fowler was able to get around Austin Abney. Then we see John Glada Jr.
And it's hard to see. I mean, even though this dust right here, it's hard for us to see. I can't imagine racing at full pace right behind somebody. Looks like that's Borch right there making his way through. But
yeah, you can only imagine.
I tell you what, I mean, and you talk to a lot of these riders as well. They say, I'm not saying I'm a fan of the mud, but at least with the mud, you can kind of pull a tear off. You can have clear vision from time to time, but with the dust, it's in the air. It's just lingering around, and so even when you haven't caught up and you're not eating roost off the rider in front of you, that dust is still there. It plays tricks on you as well. Sometimes you think you see things that you don't, and to your point, Johnny, it causes the riders to tighten up a little bit. They're hanging on just a little bit tighter because they're about 80% sure that they know what's coming at them, and instead they hang on just a little bit more. They start tightening up early in the race.
Yeah, absolutely, and that can happen quickly. There we see visiting ATV Pro motocross rider Max Lindquist back now battling with some of the front runners in that XC2 class. Looked like he was right with Braxton Gross, who is running 3rd in that XC2 class. Now you see the leaders on screen. Cole Richardson out front. Stephen Harrell starting to looking like maybe he's getting a little bit closer, and you are right. Josh Merritt has gotten into the number 3 spot. He has gotten around Ronnie Rush. So Merritt making moves, getting a little insurance between him and Wyatt Wilkin right now in that battle for the number 3 spot for the season.
And that's what he's going to need to do to hang on to it. 4 points separate those two, with Josh Merritt having the upper hand. So Wyatt Wilkin not only would have to get past him, but he would have to get several spots ahead if he wanted to take home that 3rd place in the championship. And one thing to talk about here, guys, we mentioned how many people were here. You mentioned the XCR and how for some of these riders it's their home race and that adds pressure. I was talking to one of the XC2 riders' mom, and she was mentioning this is not a home race for them. Just the nerves that they have going into the Ironman. There are so many people here. This is so much larger than what a normal GNCC would be. So many eyes on you. And she was saying it really took put a lot of pressure on her son. So I think that can come into play for a lot of these riders here today. Maybe not quite in the XC1 class, but for the rest of our classes, there is a lot of attention on this race.
Well, guys, look at that parking lot right there. I mean, this place is packed. I mean, so many fans, so many spectators, so many racers. And to give you an idea of the pressure, this morning, I already alluded to it. I think they may come join us in the studio. Ryan Villopoto, Damon Bradshaw, Barry Hawk, so many riders came out and took part in that industry race challenge. Quote from Damon Bradshaw looks at Ryan Villopoto after the race and says, man, sitting on the starting line, I felt more pressure and more nervous than I did back when I was racing at A1. Villopoto looks at him and says, dude, same. So if you want to know how much pressure comes, and that is, they were not prompted to say that, you want to know how much pressure comes from the Ironman GNCC, 2 former Supercross top racers, race winners, champions, saying Ironman GNCC, more pressure.
And imagine being Bryson Neal and Walker Fowler. Not only they have that pressure, the whole championship on their back right now.
Those guys are cool as a cucumber. They know exactly what they're doing, but sure, pressure, but you know, when you're a guy like, oh, look at that, Merritt has almost made the gap up to see Ronnie Rush still hanging tough there in the number 4 spot. Merritt almost to the rear wheels of the number 8 of Stephen Harrell, but still smooth sailing out front for the number 3 of Cole Richardson. Harrell's still close, though.
I was about to say, Harrell is definitely not letting your leader just run off with it, and Merritt now starting to catch glimpses of Harrell in some of these spots as well. That is got to be maybe an advantage. I don't know how well he's going to be able to see him throughout the duration of the race as much as the dust is kicking up, but there is definitely some opportunities to spot the traffic in front of you, maybe even make a plan to find a way to get around it.
So on screen now, seeing Cole Richardson, your leader, checking in once again, and he is still going to be followed by Stephen Harrell.
All right, here we see Harrell there in the number 2 spot.
And we're going to get a word from our sponsors before we come back to the racing action. Taking a look at the Monster Mile right now. We're going to get a word from our sponsors, and we'll be back. There it is, the Coltrane chugging along, trying to walk away with a win in just his third ride of the season here at GNCC. Will he be able to hang on, or will Stephen Harrell, maybe even Josh Merritt, track him down? We'll find out. This is the Yamaha Racing Ironman GNCC.
Unleash aggression, reliability, and premium quality with Kenda tires. Delivering exceptional performance on all types of vehicles. Automotive, ATVs, UTVs, motorcycles, bicycles, trailers, lawn and garden, and even golf. Trust Kenda tires to guide you on your next adventure. Kenda, designed for your journey.
Born of family values and a homegrown work ethic, Cometic Gasket seals your machine so you can focus on the finish line. Cometic Gaskets are the competitive standard for racers who demand the very best inside their engine. Cometic Gaskets are always constructed from superior materials designed to perform in the most demanding environments. Whether it's a championship on the line or a day in the dirt with friends, professionals and enthusiasts alike depend on Cometic. Cometic Gasket, sealing championships since 1989.
On Track School is an online private school catering to some of the top athletes in the world. We offer a flexible schedule for students that are chasing their dreams and always on the go. We are an accredited K-12 school where students can graduate with a diploma. Scan the QR code or call us to book an appointment with one of our learning coaches to discuss your students' next steps.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to round 13, the Yamaha Ironman GNCC. Getting a look at the bottom of Ironman Hill right now. We've been talking about some special guests that we're going to have making their way in and out of the booth all weekend long. Zach Heron here alongside Blake Redferen and Jackson Burrell. Redferen going to be playing our Monster Energy concert series tonight. I can't be more excited because not only do we have a big name in music, you're a local guy here at GNCC, man. You've grown up racing and riding. How good does it feel to be back home?
Man, I woke up to generators and bikes buzzing by, and it felt like heaven. I ain't gonna lie to you. It's been so long. My family grew up GNCC racing, man. It's in my blood. You know, I did that for 20 years before I did music, so that's my whole identity is these bikes.
All right, now let's go ahead and get the question out of the way. Are we lining up and racing tomorrow?
Man, I was supposed to. Tore my labrum and my rotator cuff about 6 weeks ago, and I was still going to ride, but the label found out yesterday, and they lost their minds.
Little frowned upon on that.
Yeah, they was like, please just do the show. You can ride next year. So I'm going to come back and do me a GNCC or two next year for sure.
But we're going to be wide open at the concert tonight, right?
Oh, we are about to let it rip tonight, man. These are my people. They talk my language, so it's about to be on.
Absolutely. Well, we cannot wait. Blake, talk about the racing that we've been seeing so far. Now, you're a two-wheel rider yourself, but as we've seen, Ryan Villopoto, Damon Bradshaw, they're not scared to get in and mix it up with the four-wheel guys. What do you think about Ironman so far this year?
Man, I think it's awesome to see RV get out there. I was always a big Barry Hawk fan. I love seeing Walker Fowler. Like back in the day, you know, he'd show up on a YZ85 and then he'd be on a quad, and that always made me a little nervous because I was like, damn, if he can do both that good, he's trouble out here. So, I mean, it looks like Ironman Hill's wild. I wish I could just go hit it once when the riding's over.
You think you can make it up that thing? You think just one shot, you got it, no problem?
Oh, yeah, I'll do it in Timberlands.
Hey, look at that. He's not scared. I love it. This is what it's all about.
Give me a monster helmet, some Timbs. I'll climb it.
He is ready to go, man. And like you said, being back home again, obviously going to have, this is a home crowd. Obviously, people, man, we heard sound check early. Sounding great, by the way.
Thank you,
man, everybody is super excited about it. Any big plans for the show? We stage diving, anything like that?
Man, we'll see what Stu and them get into. You get Baylor out there, I don't know what'll happen after a shotgun or two.
You never know for sure.
Yeah, it's going to be good. Tim told us to keep it good. Everybody make sure you act good out there. We having fun. We're going to turn up. Let's
have fun but behave, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, Blake, thanks for hanging out with us. I believe you've got a ticket to Ironman Hill. You're headed down there right now.
Yeah, we about to go get in
If somebody crashes down there, don't steal their helmet and go for it, okay?
Nah,
we got to have the show tonight.
Nah, you know, we'll do better now. We'll give them a little push, though.
Exactly.
Yeah,
a mud flea for sure. Well, a huge congratulations. Like we said, Blake Redferen, congrats on the music career, and thanks for coming to hang out with us here at GNCC.
Thank y'all for making time. See y'all, boys.
All right, absolutely. Back to the racing action on hand, and got one of those wide open field sections.
Thanks, man. Good luck tonight. All right, so we're back racing. Yamaha Racing Live Drone, watching them make their way through the cornfields of Indiana. Not only is Redferen headed down to the Ironman Hill, I'm going to be headed that way here in a few minutes myself. And we're going to get to see a first-hand view. But for now, it is all about this field. As they make their way through, they pop back into the woods, and we are racing. How about it, Zach? Redferen going to be out here tonight. Not only that, Ryan Villopoto, dude, we have everybody that's anybody out here this weekend.
Dude, I mean, as a quote-unquote amateur musician myself, I'm a fan. The guy probably go faster than me on a bike, and he's playing bigger shows than me, too. I'm excited. Jack and Diet Coke, you know, we'll be singing along all night long. It's going to be fun for sure.
No. Just like Johnny. That's the song, baby. I'll be center stage, both arms up.
So that's why we're resting our voice, Johnny. Okay, you're saving for the concert tonight.
Yep.
I love it. It is going to be a blast for sure, but what is a blast right now is watching the battle that we've got on hands. Look at the freight train of riders making their way through that little S-turn there section and right back into the fields wide open. Haven't quite been able to see whether we've had any big shakeups. Johnny, what are you seeing?
Look at this. Starting to tighten up back here. We got one stretched out a little bit. Then we get 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, all wheel to wheel to wheel to wheel. Everybody's starting to get antsy, wanting to get to the front. Can't tell from this altitude, but I think if we get down a little closer, a couple of those bikes in a big hurry. Might be the big number 1 of Bryson Neal, possibly that number 723 of Walker Fowler. They want to get up there. They know that Cole Richardson is out front with clean air, starting to run away.
And that is what you don't want if you're one of those two, especially for Fowler.
If you're Bryson Neal, you're kind of okay with it, because right now he's ahead of Walker Fowler. But Bryson made the statement after the last race. He said, hey, yes, we're in a good championship position, but I want to win races. Hasn't won a race since coming back from summer break, so you know he wants to get it done. He wants to clinch this championship with the win. Walker Fowler, on the other hand, in an absolute must-win situation to even have a chance to take home this title today.
And if you'll think back to a few races ago, that pre-race report, I asked Bryson Neal how he felt about going into the championship, if the weight of it was on his shoulders still, and he looked at me, and that was probably the most serious I've ever saw the man, and he said, I'm not worried about it. I've got this under control. We know exactly what we need to do, and so far, so good here at the Ironman.
Yeah, he's in the position he needs to be in. Surely both those guys would like to be further forward, but the sense of urgency right now should lie with Walker Fowler. He needs to get to the front to have any chance whatsoever to possibly win this championship here. Guys, wanted to throw out, actually got a text from Chris Landers over at the Landers KTM rank. We're talking about everybody that's here from right now, from 2 to 3 p.m. Marvin Muskin over there signing autographs at the Landers KTM rig. So we've got so many riders with us this weekend, so many legends. including the ones on the track. We actually have another legend coming in to join us here in just a minute. But man, it's just the hits just keep on coming here today, Zach. Anybody who's anybody is here at Ironman GNCC.
Well, I tell you what, our next guest can probably talk about, if you're going to talk smack about whether or not you can be fast on a Yamaha quad, you don't do it around Johnny Gallagher. The beast from the east, Damon Bradshaw, joining us in the booth. Damon, you were out there on a quad earlier today. You and Villopoto. Take us through how all of this got started. It was Johnny's first time at Loretta Lynn's earlier this summer, and then somehow, maybe some adult beverages got flowing, some smack talking got started. Next thing you know, you're on a quad out here racing at Ironman.
Yeah, I mean, they came up with the idea, and I went along with it, and here we are. And it's, those experiences when it's really the unknown, you don't know the track, and then not really knowing what we were riding. Obviously, we knew we would be riding good bikes. So yeah, just the experience that's what makes it so much fun, and it was. I mean, it was a success. We all survived, and we all had fun.
Now, I caught up with you after the race, and I was like, did you have fun out there? You said, I survived. You had a big smile on the face. Got to be some huge differences between riding a motorcycle, especially at the level that you've been doing it, compared to riding a quad. Did anything stick out to you? You said you had maybe just a little bit of experience on one, or a little more than Ryan, I should say.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, what did you think about your time out there on the quad?
It's honestly way less pressure and way more fun, because when you ride two wheels, I expect a lot of myself still. And so, yeah, just to be able to come in and do it the way we were, being here for the new 250FX media thing that we had the other day at the Terrell family house and farm. And then in addition to this, and then maybe possibly even going to ride tomorrow. So I love doing multiple things in one weekend like that, especially at the end of the weekend when you go home healthy. And then I'm only home a week or so, and then I'll be headed to Baja. So it's a lot going on the last, really month of this year.
It's just go, go, go. And we talked about it a little bit earlier after I got finished talking to you guys. I said, this is one of the cool things that comes with being part of the Blue Crew, right? Yamaha, at the end of the day, you guys, you're want to win championships. Bryson Neal and Walker Fowler can attest to that, but you want to have some fun. You want to enjoy racing, enjoy being around the racing atmosphere. Blue Crew can help you do that as well, and this experience is proof of it.
They're very good at it. I mean, the Blue Crew events that we had this year, with the kids, and then being able to go overseas and race at the Motocross of the Nations, to be involved in all of that and be a part of it is really cool. And I've talked about it for years. I mean, I've been at Yamaha since I was 8 years old, so that family feeling that you get, and they make it fun, and it's what I enjoy doing. I mean, if it's not fun, it's not something I want to do. So yeah, being a part of the family like I have been for a very long time is still a lot of fun, and to get to come and do events like this that we throw together, they could be last minute, they could be planned, so that's when they come off the best.
Now let's talk about it. You're a guy that's been there, you've been in championship positions before. Walker Fowler and Bryson Neal, final race of the season. Neal got a little bit of points to play with right now, but the pressure's on. He's got to get at least 7th to be able to hang on to it. However, Walker Fowler, the 7-time champ, he's got to be up front winning if he even wants a chance. What do you think the mindset through those two guys is feeling right now?
I've been in that position 1 year on the 125 in 1989. I was, points down going into the last round, and all I could do was go out and win. And I needed some help from my teammates, and actually got it in one moto. And then the second moto, I didn't get as much help as I needed, and missed the championship by a point or two. But I think it's one of those things where, and it was one of my best rides. I just knew what I had to do, and there was nothing else but to go out and win. And it was a good weekend on that, but we lost the championship. So hopefully it'll work out for him.
Definitely going to be fun to watch for sure. Now, Johnny, these two guys, Bryson and Walker, you've probably spent more time with them definitely than either one of us. And you talked about these guys are cool as a cucumber, right? This is just another day at the office, but are you telling me they don't feel a little bit of pressure as we see your leaders just go by? Looks like Harrell still chasing down Coltrane, and then Merritt still there in third.
Yeah, I mean, this is what these guys do. I mean, it's their job, it's their passion. They're prepared for it. They live for pressure. There we see Bryson Neal now has made a couple passes. Looks like he's at least 2 to 3 spots ahead of Walker Fowler as they run. As there is Fowler, so 3 spots ahead of Walker Fowler right now. Hunter Hart just behind Walker Fowler there. That's what these guys do. I mean, they ride ATVs. They do it very fast. And if not for pressure, what would be the motivation to do it? I mean, there's all these fans watching. There's the companies that back you. There's your family, your fans, your friends, everybody. You go out there and you put on your best performance. And I think both these guys know all they can do is do their best. Are they going to give it everything they have? Yeah, but they were going to if it was for 10th. So it's really just kind of the added bonus of knowing they have a championship on the line. If anything, it's just a bigger trophy at the end of the day.
Going to be fun to watch. Now, Damon Bradshaw, we've got some highlights from the morning race. I'm not sure how much of this you made the cut, but we did hear on this starting line, you and Ryan both said, man, this is A1 comparable. There's some serious, I don't want to say pressure of performance, but nonetheless you could feel the hype of Ironman.
Oh, 100%. I mean, I know Ryan was super nervous. He told me numerous times, made several trips to the bathroom prior to the start, and so did I, and I wasn't even starting. But I felt the same thing, and I told several people after he actually made it off the starting line that I said, I think Ryan was more nervous than being in A1.
That's some chaos right there. You weren't involved in it, or I don't think Ryan was involved in that, thankfully.
I don't think so, but no, it was just, and that's what kind of makes it fun for us. I mean, even though it's been a long time since or for me especially, starting gate stuff, Ryan does a little more racing than I do, but it's still pressure. It doesn't matter. You want to go out and do well, and the nerves are there.
Now, we talked about it a little bit.
That was you right there.
That was Damon headed up the hill. We'll see if the drone's able to chase him down or not. And the reason I say if he can chase him down, you were rolling out there. Now, we go back to the smack talking between you and Ryan. This was who was going to be faster on a quad, correct? As right kind of dead in the center of your screen, making its way through. That's the beast from the east getting the job done. I love it.
That was fun. There was definitely a little bit of smack talk, but that's the way it always is. It doesn't matter if we're on 2 wheels or 4 wheels.
Well, that's really what got this whole thing started. I think it started on Grizzlies. There you are again, making some passes, making moves out there. The beast from the east still has the heat, and putting out a very impressive lap time today too. I'll let you say who was faster, you or RV. We'll leave that here for a minute. But started you guys talking about saying, I think I could whoop you on a Grizzly, and that was where this started at about 11 o'clock one night at Loretta's. And I said, guys, if you want to settle this, come to Ironman. We'll prep you some race quads, and let's make this thing happen. And next thing we knew, it was kind of like, yeah, we're going to do this. And I was shocked the next morning when you guys both were like, yeah, let's do it. So the fact that it was made happen, thanks to all the fine folks at Blue Crew, and having you guys out has been awesome. But what was the tail of the tape? Who was faster?
Ryan tried to make up a few excuses. I think I was definitely faster, but I will say I probably had a little more time on a quad than him. Not necessarily a race quad, but I have spent some time on him. But no excuses. I mean, he had time to go and ride one too. And I even tried to a couple of different times. I'd see guys on quads, and they wouldn't be a Yamaha. So I'm like, all right, I can't sneak some time in there. But all in all, it's good fun. And Ryan has a better filter than I do when it comes to ego and wanting to go fast. He's much more laid back at it than I am. So I always turn it into a game and see how fast you can go.
Well, it looks like these guys coming in and getting some fuel. I'll go ahead and run it down for you. 33:07, Ryan Villopoto. 32:25, Damon Bradshaw's lap time. And you had an extra 3/4 of a mile of track because he rode the first track, or the first lap. This one, advantage the beast from the east.
Yeah, it was good.
Here we see Bryson Neal in, getting a splash of fuel, and this will be the only pit stop these guys have today. So they're getting some goggles, getting some hydration, taking off, and they are out and in pursuit of still this man right here, Cole Richardson, visiting rider, last year's number 3, again, officially retiring at the banquet in December, coming back, already having a 4th place finish earlier this year, saying, you know what, I'm going to come out and give it a go at Ironman, leading the way. Steven Herrell, still in the number 2 spot. Looks like Josh Merritt still in 3rd. Ronnie Rush right to the rear wheels, though. It looks like he's gotten right back up to Josh Merritt, starting to put pressure, trying to take back that number 3 spot that Josh Merritt took away earlier this lap.
Well, like we said, Merritt locked into a battle for the 3rd place overall position as far as the series goes between himself and his good buddy Wyatt Wilkin. As now you're watching the Coltrane make his way through the finish line once again. Gonna wait for time to scoring to update, give you guys a little bit of an idea exactly what kind of pace they're running out there. There you see Herrell, and this this is no surprise to see Steven consistently staying up front like this and really not letting the Coltrane run away from him. There you saw Josh Merritt and Ronnie Rush still sitting third and fourth. Johnny, what are we seeing on time and scoring as far as the gaps?
Well, the gap says they run 5 seconds back from your leader, Cole Richardson, to Stephen Harrell. Another 5 seconds back to Josh Merritt, then only 1 second back to Ronnie Rush, and only 2 seconds back to Bryson Neal. Things starting to tighten back up. Then it's Brandon Owens in the number 6 spot, another 3 seconds back, then 1 second back. Wyatt Wilkin, Hunter Hart, Walker Fowler, all checked in, and now just behind them we have Adam McGill checked in the number 10 spot. So those are your top 10 checked in. No gap bigger than 5 seconds.
Man, you could throw a blanket over them.
Yeah, it's like they're spaced just with the dust, you know, to kind of pacing themselves, waiting till the end, and then go for it.
Cole Richardson's looking good. Stephen Harrell looking like he's got some staying out of the ruts there. He's able to kind of square the corners up, looking like he is really dialed in. Look at this, Ronnie Rush, a lot of pressure now on Josh Merritt. Then it is Bryson Neal, Brandon Owens, Wyatt Wilkin coming through there, all kind of wheel to wheel. Bryson Neal not looking like he's in a huge hurry to get to the front, but just looking smooth, calm, collected, knowing he's ahead of his championship rival, Walker Fowler, who's sitting back in that number 9 spot.
Well, and I was just about to ask that, you know, if you're in the helmet of Bryson Neal right now, these guys are smart, right? They're not going to go add any more risk than they need to. You got to think, is Neal going to just kind of hang out where he's at right now? If the pass shows up, then he's going to take it, obviously, but do you think we see a lock-in type sprint effort out of Bryson Neal?
I mean, you could never tell with these guys. Obviously, he said he wants to go out with the win, but at the same time, he's doing more than enough right now, sitting in that number 5 spot. I mean, he has points to play with in every direction. He came in with a 16-point lead. He's currently sitting 4 spots ahead of his nearest competitor in the championship, Walker Fowler, his only competitor left in the championship. So my opinion would be, why risk it? You have somebody like Caleb Russell, he would say, nope, we're going for it. We're getting the win. That said, I mean, there is additional risk that comes when you start pushing the pace, but we may have our answer on screen, because that is Bryson Neal, who is now all over the back of Ronnie Rush and trying to get to the inside.
Wow. So, yeah, making a point, says, here, Zach, you want to see? Look at that. And look at that, inside to inside. And Bryson Neal going to make the pass around Ronnie Rush. And Rush was, in the last camera shot, he was applying pressure to the back of Josh Merritt. So just like that, Neal working his way right up to the back door of the podium. So who knows? Maybe he was just waiting for me to say something, and now he's locked in. He's charging forward. And Merritt actually has stretched it back out just a little bit.
Wait, did we lose? Nope. Nope, that was still Harrell in the number 2 spot, I believe. Merritt in 3rd. Then it is Bryson Neal in 4th. Ronnie Rush still there in the number 5 spot. So that's the only shakeup from our last camera shot there.
Taking a look behind Rush. Looks like that's Wyatt Wilkin.
Yep. Sitting there in the number 6 spot. Brandon Owens may have made a move there on Ronnie Rush. We'll have to see in our next camera shot. Owens was in that mix as well, just a camera shot ago.
So here is your leader out front, and I mean, look at the gap that Cole Richardson has opened up.
Clear track, man.
Yeah.
It's huge when you're out there, I can tell you. I only did 1 lap today, but when the track was clear in front of me, when it wasn't dusty, when I didn't have, you know, other riders in front of me, it was, Stephen Harrell is still keeping it close. Josh Merritt now heavy pressure from the number 1 of Bryson Neal, just like that. Bryson Neal is on a mission, so are we going to see a lock-in? I think we just did.
And you can see some of these sections, obviously, they dip back into the shade. We've talked about the fire ban that's in place this weekend, the dry conditions that have kind of surrounded this area throughout the summer and leading into this race. You're seeing some of that blue groove as well, starting to see laying a little rubber down as they make their way, especially in some of these wide open sections. How does that change some things up? It really seemed like Bryson Neal was able to move some different lines around to find a way around Ronnie Rush.
Yeah, I mean, when you get that blue groove, there's actually a little grip in that if you run it just right, but it's also it's kind of like riding a razor's edge, because if you get off that blue groove, get into the marbles, it's a lot like car racing. You could just lose all grip at once, and next thing you know, you're just sliding uncontrollably. But the dirt here is just so good. It's there was a little moisture in it this morning. It was perfect. You can see it just continues to dry out with the wind and the sunshine. But what'd you think of this Indiana Hero dirt out here?
It was really good this morning. That little bit of rain the other day definitely helped, and I was hoping it was going to hang around for these guys, but obviously tomorrow conditions are going to be super gnarly. I mean, it was already getting rough, and there was already poof dirt, and I'm sure now it's even multiplied times that. So, through the two-wheel community, and I want to give so much credit to these guys, because again, I've never rode a course like this on a four-wheeler, but I've always said, but a little bit I've done, you have a whole new meaning of respect for these guys, and when you ride the course and know what they're going through for 2 hours, you got to have respect for them, and I always have for off-road guys. I think there's a lot of unsung heroes in this business, and I've said that multiple times, because it is not easy to go out and do a lap, much less 4 laps, much less 6 laps. It's not for everybody.
So was this your first GNCC experience this weekend?
I've attempted a few on two wheels.
Okay.
I ended up in the trees or, crashed and broken, but this was my best success, I will have to say.
Big four-wheel guy.
That's
Big
right.
ATV guy.
That's right.
Here we see Chris Borich on screen, a 6-time champion in his own right, running just outside the top 10. He checked in with 2 laps complete in the number 15 spot overall. New leader in that XC2 class, Alex Tiemann, has gotten around, taking the lead, and Dylan Walraven now back to the number 2 spot in that battle for the XC2 lead. And Zach, we got to point out that is also a battle for the championship. Grayson Eller sitting back actually outside the top 20 overall right now. So right now, Alex Tiemann, right there he is on screen, on cue. Alex Tiemann leading the way in that XC2 class, and also in position to bring home that XC2 national title here today.
Yeah, like you said, it was a pretty gnarly situation there. Eller really fought hard to even keep those title hopes alive. I believe it's 1 point that separates the two of them in that battle. But like you said, Tiemann, he's in the position right now. And unfortunately, it looks like Grayson Eller, Lady Luck, not on his side at the moment. That might be all she wrote.
Sitting back in the 22nd spot in that in the overall, so 8 spots behind Alex Tiemann right now. So Grayson Eller has really got to chop wood if he wants to get up there and make this thing a battle today.
Now, it's interesting to see. Obviously, we've got Ryan and Damon both coming from a pretty different world of racing, but we've got some ATV motocross riders out here as well. Bryce Ford, I believe we've got
Max Lindquist on screen.
There it is.
You couldn't have planned that any better.
I was about to say, I took a note from you there, Johnny, with Alex Tiemann. But what do you think the biggest changes are that these guys are seeing and dealing with right now? We've seen Joel Hetrick come out and race with us as well, and don't get me wrong, they're still rolling at quite the pace, but it's a whole different world when you step into the woods like this.
Sure, and it really is. There's a lot going on there. I mean, when you've not raced for that long, when you've not raced in the trees, obviously Damon, Ryan, some of these guys coming in off of 2 wheels, at least these guys have 4-wheel experience, but everything just gets really close together all of a sudden. You don't realize how much speed you're carrying. Grayson Eller on screen, that is the other championship contender in that XC2 class, but your mind could just get to playing tricks with you, because you feel like you're moving, and then suddenly these guys that, if you don't follow things closely, maybe you're not as familiar with, are putting pressure on you. It can really make you tighten up quick, and I think it's just cool to see everybody that wants to try new things, come out. And I know Max Lindquist was actually out west doing works races a couple weeks ago, so he's just wanting to try everything. Bryce Ford, cool to see him come out. He's one of the top runners in that ATV motocross series, and very, very fast on a motocross track. So cool to see him give this a shot, and maybe he'll come back and give it another go.
Well, and Damon, you can even touch on this. Each one of these disciplines, these are the elite of the elite. We've seen John Glada Jr., who's obviously a GNCC guy. He goes and does some ATV motocross. Somebody like yourself that's been involved with so many different disciplines, when you get to the level like this, those guys are absolute masters at their craft.
Yeah, it's just like, Ryan talking about never having time. I'm like,
whoa, you're going to Bryson Neal to the number 2 spot. Wow. He's got around Josh Merritt. Didn't mean to cut you off.
No.
Around Josh Merritt, around Stephen Harrell, and already now starting to track down the number 3 of Cole Richardson out front. Here we see the Bidwell Bullet is on one, folks, and he is in pursuit of that lead position.
you know, I have a great deal of respect for guys that want to try all of the different type of disciplines, whether it's on 2 wheels or whether it's on 4 wheels. And I talk to kids about it all the time. Not so much kids switching from 2 wheels to 4 wheels, but ride different types of moto, ride some flat track, ride some off-road, because I think it'll make them better at what they choose to do. But, you know, back when you were talking about these guys coming over from whether it's motocross or whatever, it's the patience that you have to learn here because you have more time. And for a moto guy like myself, that was my problem when I first started riding GNCC, was the patience. You know, you have this time, and I was never very patient on the motocross track. I wanted to go to the front as quick as possible, and really here you can't do that. You got to pace yourself.
Well, we're going to have some patience before we wait and see whether or not Bryson Neal is going to be able to track down the Coltrane, Cole Richardson, and steal away the lead and maybe even try to cap off the season with a win. He's doing simple math. He says, I know if I'm first place, I got that title wrapped up. So going to be exciting to see. We're going to get a word from our sponsors, and we'll be back at the Yamaha Racing Ironman GNCC.
We've been there since the very beginning.
20 laps, the main event, the mud, the blood, the beer.
Organizing the industry and building champions. "100 years of defending your rights to ride into the future."
Community, family, teamwork. It's what we have stood on for over a decade. Hauling might be what we do at the surface, but it's much deeper than that. Because what you need matters. When you need a haul, give us a call at 724-852-4488. For 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and 365 days a year, we at JD Enterprises are prepared to serve you.
It takes commitment, passion, and endurance to make something great. Made by champions, for champions.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to round 13 of 13, the Yamaha Racing Ironman GNCC, the race for the cure. Zach Heron here in the booth alongside a multitude of people. We have Blake Redferen, Damon Bradshaw, Johnny G. Now, Mikey Wayne's joining us up here in the booth. What's up, man? How you doing?
Well, great. I got my union break in there after the starts, and we just kept having all-stars come in, and I thought, you know what? I'll just sit and watch and wait. And now they're all done with us, so it's just me and you, Zach.
Hey, well, you know. We're all that's left, so
that's it.
It's the best of what we got. Well, man, take a look at this crowd. I mean, the parking lots, and that's plural, are absolutely packed, and we still got so much racing action to go, even after the checker flag falls here on this ATV Pro race.
I mean, you look at that shot, and this somehow continues to just keep growing year after year, and I think, perfect storm this year, right? Like, weather's absolutely perfect. If you're a spectator, it's a perfect day to be out here at the race, and you got the Nations coming next year, so there's some hype around that, and I don't know, it's just something about it. People ask me all the time, like, man, what is it about Indiana? And we do have, there's four, big local XC series. There's IXCR, there's Crossroads, MWXC, Extreme, so there's just tons of options out here. They love racing, and that's proof in the pudding right there.
Well, and this isn't just your home state race. This is your hometown races. Yeah. Now we saw your leaders come barreling by us here on screen. Hang on a second. Wyatt Wilkin trying to get up in the mix as well. Saw he had some of those Dirt Nasty shirts for sale.
Yes.
I told him to stick one to the side for me. And, man, he is looking good right now. I believe that was Walker Fowler.
Yeah.
not far behind as well. Might have made some moves forward, but Bryson Neal doing Bryson Neal things. Started charging forward, and I believe he's in that number 2 spot right now.
You know, it was interesting. You guys touched on it and nailed it on the head as far as, you know, what was the outlook going to be like for Bryson. Or is that?
That might be Walker.
I think that might be Walker right there, yeah. And, you know, he echoed the thoughts you guys were expressing of, you know, if the win is within reach, of course I want it. You know, depending on maybe I get the pit board where Walker's at, maybe I decide to, hey, do the safe thing. I don't want to risk it too much. You know, dust was such a huge conversation piece coming into this weekend because we had no rain. There's John Glotta there, the 712. But it is dusty, not downplaying that at all, but I don't think it's near as bad as what we expected.
Yeah, I definitely think that little bit of rain Friday morning has helped for sure, and even you don't really, you can kind of get an idea about things on those youth and micro podiums because the care to know exactly how they felt about the track. And nobody really had any issues. Actually, a lot of people saying how much fun they had and that this is one of the better that they've. Got to think, great track leads to some great racing. We're seeing it right now.
And, you know, with another big factor at Ironman is, you know, the amount of riders we have out here. It's always a faster track. There's options to pass. I think a lot of that has to do with just anticipating any kind of bottlenecks or at least alleviate some of those. And Hunter Hart was the guy who, man, how about Cole, by the way? I mean, just insane.
I'm trying to see if that is Cole.
Oh, it may not be.
I do not believe that is Cole Richardson. My eyes may be deceiving me here, but no, we have had a pass for the lead.
Stephen Harrell.
That's Bryson Neal.
Oh, it is Oh, you're right. B. Neal did move up into the 2 spot. So, yeah, there you go. B. Neal said if it's there, I'm going to take it, and he took it, and he's already got a gap.
Wow, how about that? So the Bidwell Bullet shooting his way into that first place spot. How about, man? And no, not taking anything away from the Coltrane either, because that's been one heck of a pace, and he's still maybe a second or 2 back from the number 1. Definitely more than capable of bringing this thing home for a podium.
Yeah, absolutely. Cole, you know, he kind of joked about, I'm going to mix it up. He said, Walker who, Bryson who, and he laughed, and I'm like, man, no, I know Cole. I know you believe that when you say it. You know, why not get in there and mix things up? So Bryson Neal, though, now he's out front. He's got the clean air. He'll get into some lap traffic, but nonetheless, this is where Bryson Neal wants to be.
Well, and Coltrane cares as well. We've seen him leave it all out there, blood, sweat, and puke, and whatever it takes. Literally, as he crossed the line just in front of Bryson Neal. That's what it's going to take to be able to beat these guys. But, man, I think also he's got a lot of respect for his competitors. He knows, hey, there's a title fight going on that I am not in. Bryson clearly found another gear. He's clicked in. He's locked in, clocked in, whatever. He's found his way to the number 1 spot.
He had locked-in shirts over there as well, B. Neal did. He's got locked-in shirts. I may have snagged one.
I was about to say, I got to send more DMs. They're going to run out of my size. Extra schmedium.
Extra schmedium. That's it.
So making his way through, and like you said, he's opening up a gap. Every camera shot, even in this field, he's opened up just a little bit, and he is trying to make himself a 2024 GNCC champion. And you know what? If he's able to get the job done, we're going to be celebrating with him December 13th and 14th for the GNCC Night of Champions. Brand new location, folks, the Kalahari Resort and Convention Center there in Sandusky, Ohio. You know where I'll be at the water park. Make sure you're bringing those swimsuits as well. But tickets going to be going on sale soon. Make sure you guys are following us on social media so you can stay up to date on exactly when those tickets go for sale. But new location, clearly looking like a lot of fun. I'm excited to see you guys there.
Yeah, and I think it's required all announcers have to wear Speedos. So, you know, it's going to be a wild weekend.
Glad I'm not an announcer at the banquet. Nobody needs this.
That is a joke. They're definitely not doing that. I'd like to keep my job, you know. So, but no, that'll be fun. The banquet's always a good party, and you know, neat. We got a new location, so that should be fun.
Like we said, tickets going to be going on sale soon, and you guys be sure you're following us on social media. That's at GNCC_racing and at GNCC Racing on all the social medias, and we'll let you know exactly when those tickets go on sale. But before we start celebrating the Night of Champions, we got to finalize some champions first. Bryson Neal trying to do just that.
Yeah, and doing a great job of it right now. And you got to believe what's going through Bryson Neal's head right now. You know, kind of just a struggle the last 3 races. You know, coming out, running up in a good position there at the Buckwheat, having a bike malfunction that ultimately cost him 25 points on the day to his championship rival, Walker Fowler. Walker comes out, wins the next race. Bryson finished second. 2 weeks later, Walker wins again. Bryson finishes second, and Bryson sees a 51-point lead dwindle down to 16 points, but the man never lost his cool, never panicked, never threw a fit, just stayed strong in his resolve and said, hey, we're going to close this thing out. And right now, marching through the pack, getting to the front, doing exactly that. Walker Fowler really, really needs to pick up the pace to get to the front to have any opportunity to at least battle this man one-on-one today. Sitting back there in that number 9 spot right now, just not looking like he's gelling today.
Yeah, it's been a rough go for Walker for sure. The little checkup from the neck up right there by B. Neal probably just wants to know, where is the Cole train?
Cole's still sitting solidly in a number 2 spot, though. You know he wants to be on the box today. Ronnie Rush up into the number 3 spot. We know this guy was absolutely ripping in the dust a few weeks ago. Stephen Harrell there now into the number 4 spot. So that means Josh Merritt has given up a couple positions.
Yeah, it's interesting. There is Merritt right there. Boy, he's got company, though.
That was the battle right there, folks. Wyatt Wilkin just behind him. Then it's Hunter Hart. So that's 5, 6, and 7 coming through. And, we got Jared McClure stuck on top of the berm.
Well, Celty up there. Oh, man. Helps on the way.
And he's still able to get out ahead of Walker Fowler. Walker Fowler able to make the pass. So that moves Fowler up to the number 8 spot, I believe.
These guys about to, rip through the pits, I believe. Back to Ronnie Rush, spoke with him prior to the race, and, he asked him about, hey, you've had some ups and downs, right? And this year you finally put together, you got your first podium, and what kind of confidence does that give you heading into the last round, moving into 2025? And he's like, man, I feel completely refocused, like new energy, feels great. And then I think in that same sentence, Stephen Harrell is the other guy that's just not quite made that jump yet, that I think, I'm calling it now. Stephen Harrell gets, if not today, for his first podium's coming next year. Like, he's on the track.
Well, and Johnny and I were even talking about this earlier. You go back to Mason Dixon. He led Walker Fowler almost an entire lap, and even when Walker got back around him, kind of latched onto the back of him, was able to really study and show exactly what some of those top-level guys are able to do. Ronnie Rush, another perfect example of that. So the future's looking bright right now, but if you're Bryson Neal, if you're Walker Fowler, you said, hey, kids, future's going to have to wait. It's still our time right now as Neal trying to check out on the rest of the field. But how about that battle between Merritt and Wilkin? This one's going to be fun because like we said, these guys, a lot of these guys are actually relatively close off of the track, but those two, they train together. They're training partners. They spend a lot of time suffering together essentially through the week to do the work, and that means they also know the other guys put in the work. And so taking a look, it's going to be very interesting to see who is able to secure that 3rd place position in the overall standings for the year.
I think that was Ronnie Rush going by. It was in the number 3 spot. Then it's Harrell in 4th. Your leaders out front still. The leader, Bryson Neal, leading the way. And look at this. Wyatt Wilkin has gotten a round question mark. Josh Merritt question mark. I did not see Merritt.
I think you're 100% right. And we go back to the points breakdown here. 4 points.
4, I was going to say 3 or 4, yeah.
Watch this static shot. So this is your 2nd place rider, Cole Richardson. We believe Bryson Neal has already come through this shot here at the 10-mile marker. Then it's Ronnie Rush. Look at this. Starting to put in a charge. He is on the move. There is your 3rd place rider. And in the number 4 spot, there is Stephen Harrell. And then Wyatt Wilkin up to the number 5 spot has gotten around his rival for that number 3, Josh Merritt. Can Merritt latch onto the back of him? Hunter Hart has also gotten around Josh Merritt. Folks, now it's time to start tabulating points.
So I believe 3 positions, I think, is the minimum amount of difference between the two of them. That rider doing a good job of moving out of the way.
And it was interesting, the Wyatt Wilkin, Josh Merritt, hey, who's going to end up with a national number 3? Both guys had the same sentiment. I want it, but, man, I'd still be stoked if I come away with, 4th on the season. Still going to be the best I've done.
See the leaders on screen. Out front, top left of your screen, that is Bryson Neal on the straightaway going horizontally across the screen. Cole Richardson in second, then Ronnie Rush. Stephen Harrell in the number 4 spot. Wyatt Wilkin with the big charge now up to 5th. Looking like he's starting to track down Stephen Harrell. Maybe wanting a piece of that podium here today to solidify himself on the podium for the year. Josh Merritt really needing to make moves here. Didn't see him come through that last camera shot. How many positions has he lost? He was ahead of Wyatt Wilkin just 2 camera shots ago. Now, nowhere to be seen.
Yeah, got to think maybe a potential mistake or something like that. I did not see what the gap was back to Hart before that, but yeah, like you said, to lose that amount of time and then an additional position as well, things starting to happen quick for the 5 of Josh Merritt. And that's a tough situation to be in too, right? It's almost, we talk about overriding or trying too hard, if you will. It seems like sometimes they call it quicksand. You know, one thing goes wrong and it leads to another and another and another. And then you almost start to have this mental block where no matter what I do, something's going to go wrong.
No block for that guy right there.
Man. Cruising right now, Bryson Neal.
And checked out as well. That's
yeah, boy, big gap now.
Yeah, you got to wonder. Josh Merritt looked super comfortable early in the race. There is Cole Richardson now, the number 2 spot, getting caught behind a lapped rider, costing additional time, and you can see just how quickly those seconds add up. It was only about 50 feet that he was behind that rider, but probably cost him 2 to 3 seconds just right there. Merritt, the last camera shot prior to losing those positions, to me, in the last couple, has kind of just looked tighter. Could have been a situation where he himself tightened up, maybe tapped a tree, knocked the front end out of whack. You just never know. But everything was going his way until it wasn't. But still a lot of racing action left, and we don't give these numbers out until the season's all over and done with.
Yeah, plenty to be sorted out. Johnny, I think you had mentioned it. I know Hunter Hart had mentioned it as well. I think it's somewhere, but basically like top 7 positions could all just throw them in a Yahtzee shaker at this point, shake it up, and how today ends up.
Yeah, there was only a couple guys who couldn't really go backwards, but everybody in the top 7 basically could go forward.
Love that. That's good.
Makes these guys work for it right down to the final checkered flag of the year, and that's what we want to see. We want to see them giving it their all. I mean, these guys are true combatants, warriors, athletes, and they're laying it all on the line, doing what they love to do. Out front, and here he comes, the number 1, the Bidwell Bullet, looking like he's going to come in and make an additional stop, maybe just for a little bit of extra fuel. That was odd.
It was interesting. Hydration, maybe? I don't know.
Came through the pits, the pit lane, rather than on the other side there, and gave up a couple seconds doing so and was motioning something to his crew. Again, maybe hydration, maybe almost. Yeah, I don't know exactly. We'll see if we can get an update down there, but didn't stop. Still out front, still leading the way. There's that blue groove we were talking about earlier.
Oh, beautiful.
Laying down rubber, baby.
That might be the first time this year we've seen that. I mean, it's been a minute.
Will we see a white flag waving here in the hands of Ricky Towery? We're at that point where we could see. We'll find out here in just a moment. Bryson Neal working his way through the final chicanes. Will it be a 2-lap board, or will it be a waving white flag for the man who is in position to put the final touches on this 2024 championship, and 1 lap to go?
So B. Neal a lap away from what would be a 3-peat for national championships. Johnny, I'm going to quiz you. How many guys have had a 3 in a row?
3 in a row would have, I believe, started with Bill Balance. Barry Hawk.
Barry yes.
Hawk, then Bill Balance, then Chris Borge, then Walker Fowler. So then Bryce Neal. So I know it would be, this is going to sound like a weird stat, but 5 3 or more time champions in a row. So Barry Hawk had 7 in a row. Bill Balance had 9 in a row. Chris Borge had 6 in a row. Walker Fowler 7 in a row. And now this would be Bryson Neal's 3rd consecutive. He's able to finish it today. What we figured out is when you figure things out on the ATV side, you can be very difficult to stop from.
Yeah, that is. I mean, that has definitely been the story for several decades now.
Another shout out, Bill Balance with us this weekend. He's here, taking the race in. He's out in the pits. He's out in the woods running around. A 9-time GNCC champion. Here, folks, if you see him, stop him. Ask him for a photo. Yeah. Ask him for an autograph. An absolute icon. One of the greatest to absolutely ever do it. And the most championships in any, whether it's motorcycle or ATV. And they were consecutive.
Yeah, that's
9
nuts.
in a row.
Bill, boy, this is his second race this year. He was with us in Tennessee.
He was actually going to race this morning.
That's what I was going to ask.
As a part of that, but has a little issue with the bulging disc.
Okay.
Says, next year, if we do this again.
That was my follow-up. Yep. Good. Love to hear that.
9 championships. Come on. Are you kidding me?
That's just nuts.
Well, Johnny, how was your lap? Let's talk a little more about that. There was no factory contract offers to break you out of retirement?
There's a reason why I'm retired.
Right.
I had a good time. my lap time was impressive for those I was riding with, but I assure you, if I was in the afternoon, I could have put 1 lap like that, and then I would have felt like, okay, let's go ahead and call it into the pits. I don't do this anymore. These guys are studs. I train my fingers on the keyboard of my laptop and scrolling Instagram. These guys are animals. I love to see it. I know what it takes. I don't throw myself in the Bill Balance, Bryson Neal, Walker Fowler, Chris Borge category, but I know what it takes physically, mentally to compete at a top level like the guys we see on screen right now. And I don't think many people understand that. Just Johnny, to do it as a weekend warrior, I'm just happy to go out there and get 1 lap in and come off the track safe.
I'm going to speak for you, and I'm going to just say longevity means something. And when I hear, since I've been in this, kids saying they would kind of gauge themselves, like, all right, where's Johnny on the track? How do I compare to Johnny? And I'm like, yo, you realize he's in his 40s, right? And you're 17, kid. Like, that means something. So
you definitely had to work harder as you get older. But it also felt better, knowing you're digging a little deeper, you're giving everything you had, and I enjoyed it out there today, but I was glad after 1 lap to come in.
Fair.
Physically, I felt fine. I'm not that out of shape yet. It was only 30 minutes, but I don't want to be sore tomorrow. I don't do this anymore. I enjoyed it for a lap. It was fun. I got to rev at some lap riders. I had some fans that I was chucking revies to and riding some wheelies, and it was good to get the adrenaline pumping, but I was also glad that I won't be sore tomorrow. No blisters, and I'm just pumped to be in here calling the racing action with the guys that are good at what they do on screen.
Hey, they're showing it to us right now. Just please show up for Loretta's next year so we can grab some more of these Supercross Pro Moto guys to come out and join us.
How random.
Zach and I were there. We heard about the conversation, right? And I'm like,
no one thought it was
there's no way.
Happen.
This isn't happening. It'd be cool, but it's not happening.
When it was originally brought up, I didn't think it was going to happen. And we see Bryson Neal on screen making it happen.
Yeah.
It's not just happening for this guy. He's making it happen. He's a force right now at GNCC Racing. And as cool as it is to see this championship come down, and he still has to finish this one out.
For sure.
You cannot deny the fact that even Walker Fowler would not. This guy's a force right now, and anybody that wants to win races right now needs to go through him to do it.
That's exactly right. He's certainly in a good spot. Like you said, we've got a little less than 1 lap to go for Bryson Neal at this point to seal the deal on it. And you reflect on the season for B. Neal. There was a point in this year where it just looked like, hey, he's going to wrap this up. We're going to have 2 or 3 rounds left. Didn't quite work out that way for him, and again, still not done yet. But I got to hand it to Walker Fowler. A lot of question marks for him entering the season. The guy's still a contender, and then you just throw in everybody else. I cannot wait to see, not trying to rush, but man, I cannot wait to see what next year holds in store.
Guys, we see Walker Fowler on screen right now, not in position, continuing to charge, trying to make up spots. But looking at the running order, Mikey, Wyatt Wilkin there in the number 4 spot. Look back there down in the number 7 spot, Josh Merritt.
Yep.
If my math is correct, 4 points is the difference.
Oh, man.
4 points is the difference as they run on track, so they would be tied. They have the same number of wins. They each have 1. So the next tiebreaker, I believe, we'd have to
race finishes.
It would be final finish of the season.
Okay.
Most wins, they each have 1. Is the first tiebreaker. The next tiebreaker is finish in the final race of the season. Wyatt Wilkin right now would get the nod. Josh Merritt needs to make a pass or have Wyatt Wilkin lose a position. But they would come tied on points right now as they finish.
Be a lot of smack talk at the banquet between those two.
Good friends, but each of them wants it.
Yeah,
for sure.
absolutely.
As they should.
Yeah.
You know, one of the things that you talked about with Bryson Neal early in the season, it almost seemed like it was, not that we were giving the plate away, but I mean, it seemed like everything was on his side. You know, things seemed to just go his way. He'd catch lappers at the right time. He would catch breaks at the right time. But then there was like this changing of the winds, right?
Yep.
And you even heard in Bryson's last interview, we just can't seem to have things go our way. Luck is, you know, and luck is kind of that unspoken part of racing where things are out of your control. Lap riders, you know, all kinds of crazy variables, and things just have not worked for Bryson. So you got to give a shout out to the mental strength as well. Obviously, got a great crew around him with that Phoenix Racing Yamaha team, but to be able to keep your rider in check, I mean, we're all a little mental up top, right? So it's easy to sit there and get freaked out over, you know, man, it just seems like the universe doesn't want me to get this done. Nonetheless, Bryson Neal putting the universe, putting them to rest. All right, he says, I don't care what you want, I want it, and I'm going to get it done.
I think another thing worth mentioning, the big break between the last two races, you know, that could have worked either way for Bryson Neal and or Walker Fowler. You know, the implications of what was on the line for these guys, the magnitude of it, they could have spent that time, you know, dwelling on it, thinking about it, or they could have just said, hey, like, we're going to prepare for this. Chris Borich on screen, you know, we're going to prepare for this, we're going to do our best. And right now, I just would have to assume that whatever Bryson Neal did in the weeks between our last GNCC, there was just a lot of reassurance of himself of, hey, there's a reason why we have a 16-point lead, even with the way things haven't gone our way the last three races. That said, I think it's important to also have a healthy respect for your other competitors, and I think all of these guys out there know that each one of these guys on any given day is capable of pulling off a win.
So waiting on our leaders here at mile 3, the FMF PowerPoint. You can see just how steep it is here. Fans, mud fleas, all having to lean against trees to keep them from barreling down the hill. But as far as where Walker Fowler is at right now, we're getting towards the later stages of the race. This guy's got no quit in him, right? He's going to charge all the way to the checkered flag. But are you a little surprised to see Walker not able to cut his way? As there you see the number 1 on screen, not quite able to cut his way through the pack like we've seen in some of the previous rounds.
Yeah. I don't think, you know, Walker's a good buddy of mine, but I don't think we're seeing Walker Fowler's best stuff today. I don't know if it's just him not gelling with the track, the bike, you know, maybe, I don't know, but that said, I mean, Bryson Neal putting a masterful performance coming through the pack. They started near each other, you know, separated by inches, and right now, Bryson Neal just proving that he's firing on all cylinders. He came through the pack, he passed everyone in front of him, got to the front, and, you know, he's starting to pull a gap now. Walker's still kind of muddling around there back in that number 8 spot, which all the riders he's around are phenomenal riders, but these are guys that on an average day, Walker Fowler goes by without being rude, without really breaking much of a sweat. And today, you know, don't know if it's the dust. Again, bike setup, not familiar with the track, but we're not seeing the best version of Walker Fowler today, and Bryson Neal is just absolutely taking advantage of that and marching away.
Bryson Neal trying to put the rumors to bed and trying to bring home a championship and do it with a win here at the final round. We're going to get a word from our sponsors and see how things shake up for the final checkered flag of the 2024 Progressive GNCC racing season.
You know, when I take the bike out like this, all my stresses just melt away.
I hear that. This bad boy can fix anything.
Yep, tough day at work. Nice cruise to sort you right out.
When I'm riding, I'm not even thinking about my painful cavity.
Oh, you shouldn't ignore that.
And every time I get stressed about having to pay my bills, I just hop on the bike, man.
Oh, come on, man. You gotta pay your bills.
You don't have to worry about anything when you're protected by America's #1 motorcycle insurer.
Well, you definitely do. Those things aren't related. So.
Oh, that is a vibrating pain.
Every generation believes they've invented the best way. With age comes wisdom. We've come to realize that every piece of knowledge is learned, passed down from those generous and patient enough to teach.
Let's take a look.
Legacy. It's not about leaving something behind to be remembered by. It's realizing that the future lies within the next generation.
Let's call it a night. All right.
The nature of true progress is humbly building something bigger than yourself. Rocky Mountain ATV MC. This is our legacy.
Whatever you drive, however you drive. AMSOIL specially engineers lubricants to maximize power, performance, and protection in your vehicles, so you can work hard and play hard with confidence. Order online at AMSOIL.com.
Progressive GNCC Racing is brought to you by Progressive. Progressive could save you hundreds of dollars on your automobile and motorcycle insurance. Specialized E-Turbo bicycles. It's you, only faster. RockyMountainATVMC.com. Get ready. And welcome back to the Yamaha Racing Ironman GNCC, our season finale. Mikey Wayne's here alongside Zach Heron. And, boy, the star-studded cast just keeps coming, man. RV, big quad guy now, man. How you feeling post-race, dude?
Well, I'll probably be a bit sore tomorrow, but we'll see.
Yes.
You know, it was a lot of fun. Like I said, coming into this, I have had zero time on a four-wheeler. Actually, I've never been to Ironman, so that's a first for me, coming here and actually experiencing and get to see the facility. And also at a GNCC race. I've never done a GNCC race. So being able to come, get myself on a four-wheeler, race, ride, it's been a lot of fun.
Well, yeah, I mean, put it in perspective. Like, we really wanted to get you and Damon, all the guys, like pre-race. Like, what are the expectations, and then post-race? What was like I kind of saw this coming versus, boy, this was a bit of a surprise.
Honestly, I didn't have, I didn't know what to expect. Obviously, I've seen it, Instagram, on TV and things like that. I have a little bit of time in the woods on two-wheel stuff, but
Sure.
As for an actual race itself and just the amount of people that are here and how close you can get, I think that's for me that one thing that I am blown away with is how close and up close these fans can get to the actual track itself. So it's very all-inclusive when it comes to that. There's really no place you can't go at a GNCC from what I can see.
It's gnarly. It's crazy.
I heard there was maybe little nerves on the starting line.
Oh, I saw him. Listen, we're ready for row number one, and I look, and there's RV walking up, where the hell am I going to go? This is going to get gnarly.
Yeah, it was. Everything was different about it. Yeah, for sure. Nerves of what I'm going to face out on the track, how the four-wheeler's going to handle, how can I handle it, not running my leg over if hey, I'm falling over. It's actually got four wheels instead of two. So yeah, there was a lot of unknowns, but it was a lot of fun.
Now, have you been able to make it out to Ironman Hill yet?
So we actually, right before an hour or so ago, we got to watch the start. The first time they came through here, and it was just like I said, the people able to go out and be this up close from what we're watching currently right here on the screen. They're really down in the mix with the riders, with the fans, and so I think that's what's so special about it is really being up and close.
Mikey, I say we get them to snowshoe next year. Howard Toll.
Absolutely.
I've heard about Howard
There it is. All right.
Yeah, that will be an experience. Obviously, we joke all the time between like off-road and moto and, which guy's tougher. Apples and oranges, right? Completely different. And then in GNCC, we have like the ATV guys versus the bike guys. What kind of respect do you have for these guys on four-wheeled machines doing this at this point?
No, it's insane. You know, like I've seen some footage of, I think, Ironman here, like at a more of, I guess, a four-wheeler motocross race. They're jumping all the same jumps that the 450s and the 250s are jumping, and to throw a 450-pound four-wheeler through the air, and they're whipping it, and the tracks get rough, and all these things. Everybody's, all the different disciplines. I wouldn't say who's tougher, who's this. You can't take a motocross guy and throw him in this and expect him to be a front runner. It's just so different, So that's the fun part about being in my position is low expectations on finishing the part of finishing, just going out and having fun and being able to experience something different than I ever have.
Knocking two wheels off, going two-wheel racing tomorrow?
I am, yes.
Okay,
we're going to knock two wheels off. We're going to be at in the 10 a.m. race tomorrow, which I've heard is going to be very chaotic.
It is nuts, yes.
I think that's probably one of the bigger classes. And I think I'm riding a 125X.
Oh, let's go.
Nice.
Yeah. So I'm actually, a little down on power, but super light, easy to ride. So I'm looking forward to it.
Down on power, but high on spirits.
That's right. That's right.
I love it.
Bring the 125 back.
I like it. Well, Ryan, obviously multi-time Supercross, motocross champ. Put you in the perspective of Bryson Neal right now. He's potentially got this title wrapped up. He's executing right now in his head. From your perspective, what are you trying to tell yourself to keep calm here? How long is this final lap if you're somebody like Bryson Neal trying to bring home his third title in a row?
Yeah, I mean, last lap, right? It's trying not to get in your head that last lap and just focus on doing what you've done the last basically 2 hours of this moto and staying out of trouble, staying clean, just trying to get through the lappers, the lap traffic as quick you can and as clean as you can. I mean, through the woods, like I said, first time on a quad, but there's really no room to pass. I mean, unless somebody's letting you by, right? So there's some strategy in that. Where do you want to close in on somebody? If you're closing in on them coming into the woods, if you want to make sure you're on them when you get out of the woods, so when you get to the cornfields, you can get through them. And just stay consistent. It's sometimes it can be a tough spot to be in. At last lap, championship on the line. But you gotta not think of those types of things and just focus on yourself.
So much easier said than done, though, right?
It is. It always is. It's always easier to be sitting here in the booth.
Amen.
That's why we do it, Mike.
Exactly.
We could be.
That's it.
No, we definitely could. Definitely a great time, though. And we talked about this with Damon as well. You and Damon and the four-wheeler, we were hanging out at the Blue Crew dinner at Loretta's, and this was more of a smack talk, sit-down, bonfire type session. It goes to show you never talk crap about riding a four-wheeler around Johnny Gallagher. He will make it happen. But it goes to show how cool it is to be a part of the Blue Crew as well. This is obviously the Yamaha Racing Ironman GNCC. These guys mean business. Bryson Neal right now, it's all business. He's bringing home this championship. Walker Fowler trying to take it away, a Yamaha rider as well. But if you want to have fun, you want to get back to enjoying the sport that we all know and love, whether it's on off-road, motocross tracks, Blue Crew's able to help you do that as well.
Yeah, 100%. The Blue Crew team and Yamaha, just the platform that they're giving the kids and obviously the pro riders too. I'm blessed to be a part of their program and be able to, the biggest thing for me is being able to experience something that I never got to experience while racing Supercross and motocross. Never do you have the chance to come out and race a GNCC, let alone a quad, right? So, and just being here with the atmosphere that it is, it's very low stress. I feel like I'm sure, the leader of this pack right here is not. He's stressed out.
Feeling a little stressed.
Yeah, mechanics and everybody that's backing the top front runners. For sure they're stressed, but from what I can tell, walking around the pits and riding around the pits, and it's more of a motocross festival, I would call it.
Mm-hmm. Hey, it's definitely a good time. Now, one rider that you are familiar with racing with, Marvin Musquin, going to be lining up in the industry class tomorrow as well. You guys chatted. Has there been any smack talk back and forth?
We have. There is a group text going around with myself, Tyler Keefe, and Marv. So
nice.
And then Filthy Phil will be out there also, right? So there's a couple moto guys coming in. I think I made the right choice there with the 125. I feel like
Heck yeah.
You know, it's going to be light, easy to ride. We have to ride for 2 hours. You know, that's typically not what we do. So, you know, and Phil's freshly retired.
That's right.
Marv's been retired. I've been the longest retired. So it's going to be some laps out there, boys. It's going to be tough.
I'm calling it now. Like GNCC is like made for Filthy Phil. Like this is like bred for him. He's going to get a taste of it and be like, you know what? I'm full time next year, baby.
Maybe he's not retired.
That's it.
Yeah, there's an over-under on throat slit gestures already, but the Mudfleas, they can give it back now.
Oh, yeah.
There's no fence barrier now. So
that's right.
It's going to be
exactly right.
It's going to be exciting to see. I don't know if I'd like to see him in Howard's Hole. I could see him.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, yeah.
If Adam McGill can survive Howard's Hole, Phil'd be fine.
I've heard the stories of Howard's Hole and seen some video already. It seems like a pretty epic spot to go check out.
Yeah, we know it, Ryan. It's circled on the calendar. You can tell us. Okay.
Highlight it.
Yeah. I've been hearing. We've been talking about it with the Yamaha boys, getting us out there to snowshoe.
It's definitely worth the trip for sure. Now, you're going to be hanging out for the concert tonight? You rocking out with us?
We'll be here for a while. Yeah, we're actually staying back towards Indy with the big group because we actually had a 2025 250 FX launch on Friday. So we have all of our media here. We got to ride Friday, the new model, and it's an amazing bike, and just what, like I said, just what Yamaha and Blue Crew put together, and be able to bring us out here and bring the media out too, because the media is racing too in this industry class tomorrow at 10 o'clock. So to get the full experience, you get to go and test it, ride it, feel it, touch it, and get your story on it, and then go racing.
All boxes are checked.
They're all checked.
Every one of them. I love it. Here at the Monster Mile number 8, entering the closing stages of this final lap, and this guy, the number 1, the Bidwell Bullet, Bryson Neal, trying to three-peat and bring home an XC1 Pro Championship here. Man, I mean, this minutes feel like eternities. I can only imagine. And you know, you bring up an interesting point, Ryan. You know, a half a second is half a second. So when a lap rider hangs you up for half a second, midway through the race, it's one thing. But on the last lap at mile 8, that half a second, it feels like a minute and a half.
It does, and that's where you need to stay calm, right? Like, you know, get through the wood section, get to a section or where he pulls over, or get to where you can get by him, and then focus, because you got to remember second place still has to go through.
That's
him.
right.
You know, typically maybe they know, okay, oh, there he goes. There goes the leader. Now he's kind of aware of second place, so they potentially could go second place, could potentially go through that lap or a little bit quicker. But yeah, just staying with a cool head and trying to finish this last lap off.
Well, Ryan, Mikey, I'm going to leave it in your capable hands.
Yeah.
I think myself and Jackson are getting ready to go down and kick off a podium celebration.
All right.
So Zach's going to make his way down to the podium. Man, this is it's been a great weekend. We've had some big names out here. RV man, thanks for coming out and hanging with us, dude.
Yeah, no, I've had a blast so far. Like I said, this was something on the bucket list of just getting to a GNCC, and then also getting to ride it, and then obviously the add-on, which was the four-wheeler. So far, it's been a blast.
I have to tell you, I had so many like DMs and messages this week. They're like, are these guys really going to ride quads? I'm like, yes. They're like, no, they're not. They're not, Mike.
Yeah,
I'm
nobody
like, yes,
can believe
they
it.
are. I promise you.
Even on my story or on my on my feed and everything, it's like there's no all the people can't believe that we race quads. Yeah, so
it's cool. It's very cool.
Yep.
So see, quads and dirt bikes, we can coexist together. It's all good.
Yeah,
it's all
why
good.
not? Yeah, just not on a moto track.
I was getting ready to say, now when we get to moto, it's completely different. Completely different at that point. So watching a Bryson Neal try to bring home a championship. His third championship.
You can really tell how the track's deteriorated. It's getting much rougher. Like I said, we were 10 a.m. moto. I did the first lap. It was still in pretty good condition. It wasn't too dusty, wasn't too rough. And now we're watching the overhead view right now from the drone, and the track's getting beat up.
Welcome back into the booth, the Johnny Gallagher. Now we can do some smack talk here.
No smack talking, but I will say this. When Ryan came off the track, I said, hey, you know, we can re-prep that machine, and you can go out and run the 30-plus class in the afternoon. And he said, I'm good.
I'm good.
Yes. I mean, look, it was a lot. Throwing, like you said, the 450-pound machine, 4 wheels on the ground instead of 2. You pretty much can't miss anything on a 4-wheeler. You are hitting it or running it over. So that was a bit different, especially when the bike comes off the ground and you get that one tire that hits the ground first and it slaps the other side down. That's something none of us are used to from coming from two wheels.
I gave these guys a little safety briefing before we got started. Literally, as he was getting ready to go to starting line, I said, hey guys, so here's the thing. Keep your feet on the pegs. This thing is 450 pounds. If it starts tipping, especially at speed, you're not going to stop it. Just roll with it.
Yeah.
And RV's eyes got about as big around as golf balls. And he just looked at me and he's like, what do you mean don't take your... I said, do not take your feet off. So everybody made it through unscathed.
Yeah.
And, they did a great job.
Yeah, my feet never left the foot pegs.
I'm glad I could scare the reality into it. And actually use the word gnarly. The first thing he said when he came in, before he was off the bike, we were disconnected the kill switch. I said, well, how was that? And he said, that was gnarly.
Yeah.
So very cool.
It was a lot of fun. Like I said, I came in with low expectations just because I didn't know what to expect, and I figured starting off low is better than starting off high, and I guess I didn't know what. Like I said, I didn't know what to expect, and it handled better than I thought. It ran better than I thought, and it was a lot of fun.
It was awesome to have you out here, and look at that. Out front, Bryson Neal still pushing the pace, still leading the way, and do you give this guy something in the afternoon race?
No, I will not. No, I cannot and will not. I know where my position or my place is.
Flip that, though. I mean, come on. Bryson throws on two wheels. He's getting smoked by RV.
Hey, we could ask Bryson if he wants to stick.
All right,
you're racing the bike tomorrow? Or
I
are you
am
going
racing
out there?
the bike, yes.
All right, well, I'll tell you what. On the podium, we'll get our man Zach Heron or Jackson Burrell to ask Bryson, would he be willing to stay and go mano-a-mano with Ryan Villopoto and Damon Bradshaw tomorrow? We'll find him a dirt bike. Yamaha
I'm sure we can find one. I'm sure we can find. There's enough of them out here.
But he has got mere corners to go now. This is coming down to the end, Mikey Waynes, and what a season it's been for this man.
Yeah, I mean, when you put it in perspective, like we said, obviously he was the favorite coming in. There was a lot of questions about how will Walker Fowler do. Walker did fantastic, had a sensational tail end of the season, but Bryson really was never out of complete control. He chipped away, Walker Fowler did at that points lead, but this has been Bryson's season all along, and he is trying to bring it in for his third national championship in a row. And like you said, that's he's clicking off the wins. He's up into the all-time wins list here, but now we talk about championships, and now he's in that very kind of elite group of guys that have been able to do it 3 times in a row.
Yeah, and we talked about it. This will be the 5th rider, 3 or more championships in a row. Ryan, you weren't in studio with us earlier, but when ATV guys get it figured out, man, they just keep ripping them off. 3 in a row for Bryson Neal, and looking like this maybe just him getting started.
That's exactly right. Here he comes. Few more turns left for the Bidwell Bullet, and he will say hello to Ricky Towery. And there it is, your 2024 national champion, a three-peat for the #1 Bidwell Bullet, fully locked in right there. Bryson Neal is your champion.
You know that feeling, Ryan. You've had a few of those yourself. What's it feel like to put in all that work and finally have it pay off? Look at this, a battle down to the finish. Whoa, we've got some changes. Josh Merritt up in there.
So Coltrane, Wyatt Wilkin, Ronnie Rush, Stephen Harrell, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And there was Merritt 6th.
Yeah, I think being in that position, crossing that finish line, wrapping up the third championship for himself. I think a lot of it's just #1 is the pressure's gone, right? You finally wrapped it up. Your machine made it through. It's a long season. The body's got to stay healthy. The machines have to make it through every round. So I think right now, obviously, super stoked, super happy for that championship. But also, it's probably a little weight off of his chest to say, okay, finally it's over. Especially going for 3, because every time I felt that first one was probably the easiest because it hadn't been done, and then the second one's a little bit harder because now the target's on your back. The third one, the target's bigger, and as it goes, it only gets tougher from the pressure cooker side of it.
They say that even though it's the smallest number, #1 weighs the most.
That's right.
That man right there carries it well. He's a beast of a human, a beast of an athlete, and he's carrying the weight of that #1 now. 3 seasons, carrying it into 2025, will be the #1 on the Bidwell Bullet, Bryson Neal. See Walker Fowler across the line, congratulating him. A lot of respect between those two. They brought it down to the final round. Bryson Neal getting it done. What a day for him here.
Yeah, sensational ride by B. Neal. Wasn't out front right out of the the start, but found his way there. And, man, as soon as he did, he got the clean air and just sent it from there. B. Neal down there chatting with his family, friends in attendance here today. Zach Herron standing by, going to grab an interview with B. Neal. I'm telling you, Zach Herron could be like the long-lost cousin of Bryson Neal. Same build.
Hey, long-lost cousins with the champ. I will take that, guys. Bryson Neal celebrating, kissing hands, shaking babies. I don't think I said that right. Kissing babies, shaking hands, doing all the things that come with a three-time champ. Ladies and gentlemen, Bryson Neal gets the job done. Man, we saw it right after that first turn. Not the best start, and a little look back. I heard you say it just a second ago. Sounds like it might have been some issues with the brakes.
Yeah, we got a good jump off the line. And, man, everyone was gunning for the start today. It was crucial. It was a big first turn. And I kind of got squished in the middle, and then I got power drived in the rear. And whenever I got hit in the rear ground in the first corner, I had no rear brake. And they never came back the whole race. And I was stressed. I was stressed because I was like, oh, my gosh. The last three races have fought me. And then the first corner of this day, and I'm losing rear brakes, and I ain't got nothing. Dusty race. I was behind. I saw Walker, and I was able to, there's a little jam up, I was able to get ahead of him, and I was like, as long as I'm ahead of him, just try to keep going one at a time, just trying to pass one person. Man, we picked our way, and I was happy with the podium, and then got past the pit, and whenever I got around Ronnie and Josh, and I saw Cole, I was like, I think I could win this. And man, I did take a chance bonsai in a couple creeks, and I was able to make the pass stick on cold Ironman Hill, and just to get out of his dust and get out front and ride a clean race, man. I'm so pumped, so stressed that last lap, but I'm so pumped to finally get a win on the championship day. The last 2 years I ain't been able to do it. It feels really dang good to have no rear brakes, have all that stuff happen, man, and just be able to push through and come home and win it. It's very special. This means a lot.
Well, and like you said, you've been overcoming a lot of stuff here these last few races. You've even said it seems like Lady Luck has not been on your side. It's been one thing, if not another. The universe has been fighting you. What was the mindset coming into this weekend? Obviously, you got a great group around you, but it's a whole lot easier to say, don't worry about it, focus on what you need to do, than it is to actually go out there and do it.
It was a two-way street. I thought about it that if I got a good start, I'm going for the win. I didn't care. I wanted to go out on top and win the race. And then whenever I got hit and I didn't have no brakes, at that point I was just like, just finish. Just get to where you need to be, get to the top 7, and just finish. And I didn't expect to win today, but I really wanted to. I tell you that. So the last 3 races, like I said, you guys all know it. They just seem like I've been in the wrong place, wrong time, just hitting it at the wrong time, getting a little bit of bad luck. But feels really good to finish this one on top, clinch number 3, and get a win on the day, dude. I got so many amazing friends, family, all my amazing team and sponsors, all the fans out there rooting today, all these people, the kids. This Ironman race is one of a kind. It's so special, and to win this one, this turnout, this type of weather, it just, dude, I ain't got no words. So just super pumped and very thankful to the Lord up above. Thank you.
Hey, Bryson Neal, he gets the 3-peat done, and he does it on top, grabbing your XC1 win.
Well, a big congratulations to Bryson Neal on his 3rd championship. And, well, RV, man, thank you so much for joining us here in the booth today, racing with this man. Hope it exceeded your expectations.
It totally did. No, thanks for having me on the show, and thanks for inviting me out here,
yeah.
Johnny, for supplying the 4-wheeler and getting it race prepped up. And yeah, it's been a lot of fun. We'll be hanging out over at the Yamaha booth, as you can see on the TV right now. It's
we got to move RV's room. He's staying too far away, but he needs to stay.
That's true.
For the Redferen concert tonight.
Heck yeah.
And I told him I got a couch in the rig.
Perfect.
That's right. So yeah, no, so it's a blast, and we'll be hanging over at the Yamaha tent. So if anybody wants to cruise by, say hi, we'll be there.
There you go.
Thanks so much for coming out, man.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. It sounds like Jackson Burrell standing by with our 2nd place finisher, Cole Richardson.
Yeah, guys, I'm here with the Cole train, straight off the couch into a 2nd place. Cole, take us through your day.
Yeah, wasn't really sure if we were going to race this weekend or not. I saw some videos from the IXCR last weekend, and I'm like, it's going to be dusty, but track ended up being pretty good. I mean, of course, yes, we had dust, but the last thing I wanted was honestly to be out front that early. We don't know where our fitness was. The last time I rode a quad for 2 hours was Mason-Dixon. We tried to race snowshoe and had some mechanicals, and man, I wasn't quite sure how we were going to fare at the end there, but sometimes less is better, and my body was healed up, and been still trying to stay active. We were just lacking seat time.
Cole, you know, when you said that you were going to give it up for the year, it was an emotional day for you. How does it feel to be back here at GNCC Racing and on the podium?
You know, Ironman got away from me last year. We were like, I don't know, second to fourth, which I got fourth. You know, we were all really close, and we wanted to end the year last race on a podium. So to me, it was kind of like, you know, kind of come see everybody, put a show for the fans, at least get on the track. But ultimately, I really wanted to make up for not getting a podium last year.
Well, Cole, congratulations on the second place. Can we be seeing you some in 2025?
Yeah, you know, we'll play it by ear. You know, I've been a little bit busy traveling with work and stuff, but you know, we never know. You know, if things get interesting during the year, maybe we'll show up to stir the pot again.
All right, everybody, that is your second place, Cole Richardson.
Well, big congratulations to Cole coming out there, and a little unfinished business for him, he felt like. So I like that, coming out and getting a podium. Solid day for Cole Richardson.
Yeah,
and he called it, too. He said, I want a podium today.
Yeah,
okay.
And he came out. He got a good start. He made the most of it, and he hung there all day. Great ride for him.
And we are ready with Wyatt Wilkin down with Jackson Burrell.
Yep, guys, I'm here with our third place, Wyatt Wilkin. Wyatt, man, another podium. Take us through it.
Yeah, man, just told Mason there, my mechanic Matt raced a lap today, and he told me before the race, like, hey, man, this is you. The track is primo, no dust. Like I said, I don't know if he was riding the same track as us or what, but, dude, it was nothing but dust. I got out there, horrible start. I wheelied into Walker, had to back off, and everybody pulled. And then that first lap I rode my butt off. Rode pretty stupid, trying to make some dumb passes when I shouldn't have, but I had to do it to make it up, and then just picked them off one by one. Ended up getting behind Ronnie, Steven, and Josh. We rode together for a while, and Ronnie had this sick line, got both of them, and it was so hard to see in the dust. So then I was stuck behind them, followed them for a little bit. Brandon clipped a tree. Steven clipped a tree, gave me two easy ones there, and then followed Ronnie forever, dude. He was ripping so good. I'll give him that, dude. They call me the mud man, but I think he's the dust man because he was riding good. Just happened to blow a berm and let me by, and then from there I was chasing down the slaw. Took a lot of time off of him, came right here to the finish together. I didn't realize we were that close to Bryson, but one heck of a day. I'm so happy.
And another great finish as we wrap up the season. Looking back on the season, what has this season meant to you? How does it feel to end it on a high note?
Yeah, man, we came into this season like, hey, let's be in top fives and let's try to get off podium here and there. And then all of a sudden we started clicking off podiums, and now that's like where I expect to be. And then we got to win, and this season's been phenomenal for me. I keep learning, having fun. I'm enjoying my four-wheeler, and dude, it's an awesome season.
Final question: how do you feel going into 2025?
So I'm trying to figure out like what my number's going to be. If I'm going to be 4 or 3, I couldn't go down. I don't know where Josh finished. Be so sick to rock that number 3, but I'm amped. I am so amped. Get back after. I'm going to take me a month off, you know, do other things and racing four-wheelers, maybe go on a vacation, and then guess I'm getting right back to it.
He's ready to go, guys. That's your third place, Wyatt Wilkin.
Jackson, if you can hear us, let Wyatt Wilkin know that at least per the math here in the studio, he did earn the number 3. He will wear that number 3 for the 2025 season. He did enough here today.
He said, sweet.
I'm going to jump back in, guys. Wyatt, we're getting told from Johnny G's calculation, so whatever that means to you, it looks like you have the number 3. What do you think about that?
God darn, it's so badass. I honestly don't even know what to say. I came into the season want to be top 5, and to walk away into 2025 number 3 is insane. Love to start battling for them wins, but man, this means a lot to me.
All right, guys, you heard it. There's Wyatt Wilkin.
As a man that wears his heart on his sleeve right there, and I love that. It's just so good for the sport, Johnny.
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot of emotion. This guy's been chasing this dream since he was on youth ATVs, and, you know, obviously he and Josh Merritt, good friends coming into today, but they each knew that, you know, they both wanted that, and nothing better than knowing you have to lay it all out on the line and get it down in the final race, and Wyatt was able to do that today, but, you know, Josh Merritt will come back with a vengeance next year, and great year for both those guys.
Yep.
It was so cool to see the personalities that they are and how much they love this sport.
That is absolutely correct. Taking a look at our specialized race recap. How about it? The 703 Austin Abney going out and grabbing that Canati Tires Whole Shot Award. in that early lead. And, boy, it wasn't that dusty really until this race, Johnny. This got gnarly quick.
Yeah, and it was funny Wyatt mentioned that his mechanic, Matt Pierce, was saying it wasn't dusty. It really wasn't bad. Matt actually rode the second lap only of the morning race, and it really wasn't. There was a lot of moisture in the track. But as the dirt got churned up, the moisture just left, and it just got dustier and dustier. And you can see the position you wanted to be right where that man right there, Cole Richardson, the Cole train out front. No dust for that guy. Stephen Harrell, a solid run early today, up in that number 2 spot for so much of the early portion of this race.
Yeah, as it began to sort out, man, it was, like you'd mentioned, Bryson Neal getting on the move and just chipping away at this.
Yeah, it was just every camera shot. It seemed like we were seeing Bryson Neal just gain a position or two, and he did just what he did at the Mountaineer a month or so ago. He was just able to make passes when no one else could, worked his way from outside the top 10 all the way up to the lead, and was just on another level here today.
This pass right here, he's inside and cuts back down to the inside again, getting around. I believe that was Ronnie Rush. He'd passed right there. Ronnie, I feel like, let up a little bit, like, bro, I don't have anything for you right here.
I
Take
think
it.
Ronnie actually blew the turn because of the pressure and got out into the fluff and just couldn't get a drive. Had to, basically check up. Didn't really have much of an option there. But then once Bryson Neal got out front, he was just making dust and making tracks. And he was, again, just he was the class of the field in 2024. We were so fortunate to see this battle come down to the final round. But when the dust settled here literally today, putting the wraps on it once again.
It's so interesting. Riders, superstitions, all that. Johnny, I know you're not one of those guys. I'm not one of those guys. I don't know that Bryson Neal is one, but there may have been an Adam McGill that said, buddy, you got married. What did you do? You're never going to win another race again. And then he didn't for a minute. Well, today, Bryson Neal, you don't have to worry about that anymore, dude. You got the win, and more importantly, you captured that championship. And, boy, saw some great racing again out of Wyatt Wilkin. Ronnie Rush up there in the mix. And
absolutely.
Ronnie even got some praise from Wyatt Wilkin about how he was ripping through the dust.
Yeah, absolutely. Hunter Hart put on a good charge today. A rider that we know didn't have the 2024 that he wanted, but putting on a good charge late in the race today, showing he's ready to go for 2025.
Yeah, interesting perspective on that real quick. Talked to him before the race, and Hunter said, I got some pretty significant changes between now and then. Next season, he said, can't really talk about them just yet, but after this weekend, going to be talking more about that, so keep an eye on Hunter Hart, maybe some news there.
Very cool. Always good to see we're going into silly season. Who's going to be wearing what gear? Who's going to be riding for what team? And it's very cool to see it all shake out here in the coming months.
Bryson Neal still doing his thing, working around lap traffic methodically, and then coming in here to the final corners at the finish line. And for the third time for Bryson Neal, 3 in a row in some elite company with 3 consecutive championships. There he is, getting the checkered flag and the fist in the air for Bryson Neal, the Bidwell Bullet, getting the job done. Congratulations to him. Johnny, real quick, that XC2, I believe it was Alex Tiemann grabbing the win in the class. I do know that.
If he did cross the finish line, then that will wrap up the 2024 XC2 title for Alex Tiemann. So hats off to him. A battle all season long between so many of those guys, Braxton Gross himself, Alex Tiemann, and also Grayson Eller. So shout out to those guys as well.
Johnny, into the season, man, what are the takeaways maybe from today and the entire season?
Good racing.
Yeah.
I think 2024 we saw so many battles. We saw new riders step up throughout the season and today, riders that we weren't accustomed to seeing on the podium battling for wins. And it just shows that the youth and the younger riders and the up-and-comers in GNCC, they're hungry, and they're going to continue to chase after the established guard. Bryson Neal able to get the championship done in commanding fashion here today, but I think we're looking forward to a very exciting 2025.
I cannot wait. I think that's my biggest thing. We had 2 riders not named Walker Fowler or Bryson Neal picking up wins today, with Josh Merritt getting one, Wyatt Wilkin getting another, Ronnie Rush getting his first podium. You got a hungry Stephen Harrell, John Glada Jr. He's got to come out swinging next year. Hunter Hart got to come out swinging next year. It is going. Hey, we're back to zeros, right? We're all even going into 2025. Bryson Neal obviously going to enjoy some time off and soak up this 3rd championship.
Yeah, absolutely. These guys are all going to need some much earned rest in the next coming weeks, but then pretty soon everybody's going to be loading up and heading south, except Bryce and Neal, who trains up in Ohio. Yep. But a lot of these guys are already starting to prep mentally and physically for 2025, and what a great time to be a GNCC racing fan.
Absolutely. Hey, we'll be back tomorrow with more from Ironman. We'll knock a couple wheels off, go two-wheel racing. And then you got Bagger Racing League, round number 5 in Willow Springs, California. We got Mini-O's coming up Thanksgiving week. We'll be out there all week long. And then don't forget to tune into those GNCC highlight episodes Wednesday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern. And that is going to wrap things up for us. On behalf of Jackson Burrell, Zach Herron, Johnny Gallagher, a gaggle of amazing guests in the studio here today. Our camera operators, Corey, Matt, Josh, Mike, Leah, Kirsten, and Jack. The drone pilot, Gabe Scholl. Our manager, Dan Reinhardt. Engineer in charge, Jordan McFadden. Director, Don Hampton. Producer, Adam Gordon. And our executive producer, Miss Carrie Jo Russell. I'm Mikey Waynes, and we'll see you at the races.